We'll rendezvous at the end, my friend, and light the darkness left behind. Smoke lingers after fire. Lay down your troubled mind. We are only kind and will kindly cease to be as we intertwine within universe and its cosmic symphony. Return me to stardust. Smoke lingers after fire. Limits boundless heaviness.
I think you need to buy stuff, ma'am. I think you muted.
Oh, that's interesting. I was muted the entire time. I was super muted. Don't judge my life.
I'm judging.
Shut up, Kirby. Um, so we are chatting today. I didn't feel like playing a game today. Uh, so we're in here just gonna vibe today. So for those that don't know, oh, the chat part, I can do that. Remove this up right here. So today we are going to just be doing just chatting today. And since it's just a just chatting kind of day, oh, thank you for all the horn rubs. I appreciate these. For you people, for everyone that is on Twitch, Twitch has a game going on while we're just chatting called Rusty's Retirement, where they get to be interactive today and get to play with me, where we're going to be planting stuff. Uh, so they get to play with me and get some planting going on. So, and because of that, there are actually commands you can use with Rusty's Retirement. It is pretty much a very passive and interactive game. I'm gonna love it playing with you guys, and I think it's really good for when we're doing just chatting. So that should be really great for those that are on YouTube, because this is a Twitch integration. You're not going to be able to see it. You're just gonna see me. Hi.
Hi, our sparkly, our golden.
So nice thing about it is there are quite a bit of things. I introduced Shoko and Noodle to the game because I was privileged enough to receive a key from Mr. Morris Games himself to test this out and to see how it worked. He's been doing amazing with this. Currently, he is still a work in development because he's the only person that's developing this game, but he also has some really nice interaction. As you can see, for all the people that join up, when you are just a follower and you join up onto this farm, you get to help Rusty do some stuff in here. So they can plant, they can water, they can gather stuff, they can build as well. They can change their colors. There's quite a few things. I do actually have a command, exclamation point Rusty, that will give you a link to show you all the commands that you can do. For people that are my subscribers, your colors will also be able to be gold as you're going about doing stuff. So you just simply have to do a lot of things.
I think you have to be a sub.
To be gold, you have to be a sub. To followers, they can pick every other color but gold. But you might have sub only for joining. Ooh, let me change that because that should not be the case. Twitch.
Let me see. Hold on. No, you're not sub only.
No, it's on here.
Yep.
It was sub only. Okay, there you go. Try it now. I just changed that up. Yeah, on here it was sub only.
On where?
It was sub in
oh.
here. It had it defaulted to say sub only. So like right here, it had it as sub only. That's kind of weird because we told him like not put sub only as a default. But that's fine. That's good to know that not to do as sub only. So now it should have everybody. So everybody should be able to join up. So everybody should be able to do this now. So today is a just chatting day. We're just going to chit chat and stuff like that. I think that's, something cool to do today. Plus I'm hot. I don't feel like dealing with everything. So. That, and I've been gaming all week and I kind of just want to just woosah a little bit. But hopefully you guys I could honestly just watch them farm all day. Right, I really could. I honestly could watch them farm all day. Like, this is super chill. I'm glad that he developed a game like this because I'm not going to be lying. It is such a mood to always have to find a playlist when you're streaming. Like, when you're doing, like, just chatting, it's a mood to try to find, like, music that is, it just kind of fits your vibes. And then also having it so that you don't have to worry about too much stuff. But I really love that I don't have to worry about this at all.
Mm, mm, mm.
Oh, it's a life sim? Do you know the name of the game? Because I would check that out. This is also like a 14 vibe. Because I could totally do this playing Final Fantasy 14. On Steam, My Little Life. Huh. Let me remember that. Because I'm going to have to check that out. Like, okay, so I've always wanted to do like the stuff that chat can interact with, especially on like non-chat, like, you know, days where we're not gaming. But like it's kind of hard because I don't want like the normal stuff. Like I like your little snake snoodle, but it feels like okay, I'm doing the same thing as everybody else and their mom. You know, I don't want to have something. I like different things like this. This is cool. Like this is really cool. So I like this because then it gives like chat something to do while we're chatting. And then it's like really chill music. So I can't even knock this. And I'm gonna try to be more organized with the farm this time around. The other farm, I was like putting stuff all over the place, and I'm OCD like that. Everything got to have a place, and everybody got to get organized, so I know where everybody is going. Yeah.
Discord got to update right back.
Oh Lord, Discord.
Welcome back.
But I hope y'all guys had a good Monday for the most part. Mine has been super chill. I can't complain too much about it. It's just been super chill and hot, but super chill. It's always nice when it's chill. I'm not ready for summer. Oh Lord, look. Not only am I not ready for summer, I'm not ready for Dawn Trail playing in the summertime. I am super not looking forward to it. Nice.
It's just what is it? It's getting you immersed.
Kids be at home, people be loud outside. That's gonna be a mood. It's gonna be such a mood.
Immersion.
Ain't no
Such a
immersion. No.
I don't know if I'm gonna take time off.
I'm never. I ain't rushing for no reason. I ain't gonna got raid.
Yeah. I'm not looking forward to the number 8,957 in queue.
Exactly. That's the reason why I'm like, I don't know.
I told y'all, I will keep doing it till we get up to it. Give y'all tips and tricks on how to deal with them long queue times that's coming. I hope people are braced for it. I need to get that week off work. Are you gonna do early access or are you gonna take off? It's not gonna be like that now. Yeah, it will. Nagi, don't lie about that. Yes, it will. I'm gonna tell you why it's gonna be like that. So Dynamis is basically a ghost town. It's empty. It's literally there's not a lot of player base that are on Dynamis. Most of the people are going over to Primal and Ether to get stuff done. They're not gonna stop doing it. That has become fully ingrained in the Dynamis servers to come over to the other data centers. And then from what I was hearing, Oceania is also on the same mode as Dynamis. they are going to other data centers as well to get stuff done. Yeah, it will 100% be number 5,899 in order. That's what's gonna happen. We all know that's gonna happen. The servers aren't balanced. They aren't balanced right now. At least the player bases in the distribution on the servers are not balanced. I haven't checked, but I want to say like last week or 2 weeks ago, all but 3 servers on Ether were congested. The cloud servers now, they have Oceania and Dynamis. Is the cloud servers are going to be active when they come up?
The issue is that SE has gone so long without having the Oceanic server. The people, Oceanic being like Australia, they've always either gone to NA or it gone to EU or JP servers. It's been like that for years. Oceanic is still fairly new server. So trying to get people to move over there has been an issue. Some people have either moved their character, which probably has been a few, and other people have just made brand new characters and gone over to the Oceanic server because they wanted to see how the ping and stuff was. But if you don't get enough people to start coming over there, it's like a ghost town. It's hard to get stuff done.
Yeah, I'm about
And
to
it's pretty
say.
much it's pretty much isolated because Oceanic is its own little category instead of being attached to the EU or JP.
Yeah, I'm about
It's
to
the
say
same
because
with
I was like,
Dynamics.
I was
Yeah.
like, I don't even think the cloud servers are gonna do anything. You're still gonna have those long queues. There is no way that you're gonna log into Dawn Trail and have the same queue times that we have right now.
Like all of the basically nobody it's like even if Oceanic had lower queue times, who is going to go over there to do that just to level up their character, leaving their friends, their FC? Because right now there are going to be a ton of people looking for FCs because of leveling reasons, getting stuff done with people, crafting. This is like Oceanic may get faster queue times, and that's a big may, but not gonna help when you don't have that many people over there.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I know they don't. Well, okay. So here's the thing, though. They probably would want to balance out the worlds and have people move over there. That's part of the reason why they add those incentives sometimes. Because I did it during the beta. I did the beta testing of Cloud, and it was cool. But people had to understand that that was just for the beta. You weren't gonna get all that stuff for like when they went live and stuff. As far as visiting, yeah, you're gonna get a lot of people that's gonna create alts over there. I don't know about full on visiting. And even then, Square Enix always tells you that one of the things they don't want you to do is get stuck over there during a major expansion drop.
Yep, they even tell you go back to your home server because guess what? You get stuck over there, you can't get access to your retainers, all the extra little stuff that you can do, your grand company stuff.
Nagi, when I tell you, that's something that I have always kind of said to people, but here's the thing. Yes, you don't need an FC. You can do just eating food, and that's going to give you buffs. The problem is that doesn't even make a difference because most people are too scared to go look for an FC to begin with. And a good portion of the player base, even new people, they learn very quickly eat food. It's like one of the first things that they get told, especially joining in a novice network, is just to go eat food. I mean, personally, I would love for them to find FCs. It makes the FCs more populated. It allows people to connect better with other players and have them more readily available than just hanging out in novice network and acting like it's a therapy chair session waiting room. And then it also gives them access to other people that can help them a lot better than like sitting in novice network begging people to queue with them and having mentors literally trying to teach them how to fish and saying, hey, you know there's duty support, right? So you can go in with NPCs and run the dungeons. Like personally, I'm not gonna lie, hard take about the Novice Network. It needs to be revamped, and the mentor system needs to be revamped across the board. It needs to be completely. It needs to be completely reworked because one, it's too easy for people to become mentors. Novice Network is a therapy chair waiting room, and honestly, it should encourage forced graduation. I don't think you need to be a sprout all the way up until the beginning of Endwalker. You don't need no sprout. I think Shadowbringer, not Shadowbringers. I say Stormblood is good enough. Once you get up to Stormblood, I think you should be good. As far as you don't really need Novice Network at that point. You should always tell people if you're scared to join the FC, make an FC. Yeah, so you know they changed the requirements for that, right? Because you have to have people that I think what is it? It's like you can't just form it and disband. The people have to be sitting in your FC for at least a month. Because a lot of them will try to do it because they want a house and they can't just like get a FC together and then everybody leaves except for the one person and then doing stuff. And fun fact, we actually had somebody on Fanfrit who did that, and he wanted to like get a house, all this other stuff like that. And he was, I'm not gonna lie, he was one of those people that had his hand out 24/7, didn't want to work for nothing, didn't want to do anything. He thought it would be super cool to have his own FC so that he could like go do FC things or whatever. And then he got introduced to the workshop and realized that how much work it went into. And then he complained about that the entire time. That was exactly why he complained so much about having an FC.
And yeah, and that's the whole thing. So yeah, you had to touch on the whole thing. So yeah, you don't need a FC for buffs. No, you don't. But they're really nice. And like you said, just getting an FC because you don't want to join anybody else FC, well, be prepared to put in the work for it. If you're gonna do crafting, do fates, get anything to get the points. If you're gonna have friends to go in there, you're gonna have new people to go. That's going to be work because you can't just be like, oh, I'm just gonna form an FC and let it run itself. Like when you start off an FC, it's work. I'm pretty sure you know. I'm not sure how long you played the game, Nagi. But it's like when you first start off at FC, just trying to get everything ranked up and stuff. It's like, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that just takes work. Everybody's gonna have to pitch in. And then if you're the leader and you don't want it to go down here, you don't want people to just start leaving, you gotta put in work. You want those airships, you want those that nice stuff that the airship bring back. Ooh, cause guess
Look,
what I'm doing right now?
Nagi, most of these people that come and play the game, they don't even want to read flavor text, much less learn how a dungeon works. It's yeah. While they can make while they can make an FC of one person, while and they still got to keep people in there for a bit before they can just like start evacuating everything. I still kind of say most people can't. They can't chew and walk at the same time in the Eorzea. They honestly can't. I don't expect anybody to do the work necessary to maintain the FC, level their FC, and anything else in their mama. No, I was good. I got to 1 to 8 in mine in like 5 minutes. But that's you. You okay, so this is the thing, Nagi. You play it like okay. I tend to tell people a lot of stuff. I tell people all the time. I play the game very differently than like say the average person who like looks at it for the first time and go, "Oh, I want to try the game out." I play this game very very differently. And the average newer player is not going to do that.
Nope.
No, I'm talking about Scavenger Bus. They on again, the average person is not going to go look at the Squadron Bus. The average person doesn't even know that they can level up their freaking their GC rank much less have a squadron available. That's what I'm telling you. You're looking at it from a game of people. Okay, you just not realize that? You're not going to realize that most of the players are super casual in this game. There are people that have squadrons that they can level up their Grand Company ranks. Didn't even know they could do that. You have people that will literally don't know to go get their My Little Chocobo quest line to get a chocobo. Like, they don't know that stuff. They're not going to level up squadrons. They're not going to level up ranks and stuff. They have to be told to do that. And most of them will go their entire time and be like, I don't know how, like, what do I need to do? They don't know that they have to do that. And then make it so bad, you really don't even have to do it, because most of them have to be told to go over to the Grand Company and look at what each of those people do. They just pick up the quest. I guarantee you, and I'm telling you, this is like the average experience that I've seen as a mentor. They get the game, they get joined in a novice network, and the first thing they say is, okay, where's my guild? Like, I don't know what I picked up. So then you have to help them identify what they picked up, because they can't tell you what they picked up. And then they say, okay, well, where's my guild? They don't even bother to look. They don't click on the button. They don't even click on the quest that actually literally will tell them where their quest, where the quest that they need to do is at. They don't do any of that stuff. They'll ask you where are certain mobs, because they don't look. They ask you, how do you craft this? And then they'll ask you, well, does anybody have any mats to craft this? You tell them about being a gatherer. They'll ask you where is each freaking node that they do, that they need to hit. They don't read any of the stuff. They don't read their tooltips. They literally sit there and they'll complain about nobody is online to play with them. I've had to often tell newer players that complain about queue times and older content. And I'm like, are you in this dungeon? And they're like, yeah. And I said, you can use duty support, because you got to understand, you're playing older expansions. People are not specifically queuing for that specific dungeon. You're going to get a bunch of people that are in roulettes, but they don't read. They don't want to read. They want someone to tell them and hand them stuff all the time. That's been most of the people that have been coming to Final Fantasy 14 lately. And then, making it worse, they don't go into dungeons and learn how the classes work. Bye, Kirby. Have fun at work.
Bye, Kirby. But yeah, a lot of people don't do what you do. They don't look it up. We like to say Google is your friend, because they're asking us stuff that's 6, 7, 8 years old, and like, we don't clearly remember that. But they expect you to be the Encyclopedia of Britannica of Eorzea and give you all the information right then and there, instead of literally doing a Google search and being like, here it is. There's plenty of websites that are out there that are catered to, for example, crafting. There's a whole website called The Balance that'll help you get better at your job, even giving you, like, as you go up in levels, this is what you have. This is your rotation. This is what you do. People don't look. They expect us. Is like, look, I understand human interaction or human teaching is sometimes
Hi,
really
Jay.
good, but not for every little thing.
Jay, if you do exclamation join, you can join up on the farm.
He's trying to get you to work. Don't do it.
I'm not trying to get him. Jay is here. Could be here with friends. Okay.
He is using us as free labor.
That's not. That's
Says
not
the
my fault.
person. Says the person that was the first one to join.
Right. First one to join, and she's complaining about working. I send videos when people ask, trying to make us say. I I mean, but no, but you have, there's just the whole thing about it, Nagi. Unfortunately, a lot of the player base that playing 14, that's what they do. They're not going to necessarily play the game. They're not going to look at stuff. They're not going to look up videos. They're not going to do a lot of that stuff. They literally just, and again, I'm not knocking Novice Network. I think the concept, the mentorship concept is actually a really nice concept. But the problem is that a lot of people use Novice Network as, again, the therapy chair waiting room, where people come in there, they try to treat it like it's general chat. They honestly are like, oh my God, I'm gonna be so sad. I don't know where else I'm supposed to go after this. And then you have some, I'm not gonna say well-meaning mentor, because they're not, because most of them are like that too. But they'll have a mentor who will be like, oh yeah, just become a crafting mentor and then you can just come in here and chill out all day. And it's just like, no, let's not encourage that, because yeah, that's bad. Oh shit, I was supposed to put these down.
Yeah, as she said, Novice Network is good in concept, but
It's just bad in execution.
unfortunately now it literally needs to be reworked. It really needs to be reworked. Especially the crafting mentors need to be reworked. You getting one gatherer and one crafter up to max level and getting so many collectibles done, that ain't it, Chief.
Mm-mm.
Whatsoever. It's not. If you're going to be a crafting mentor, you need to have all of them up.
Hi Silas, how are you?
Like all of
Hi
them.
Silas,
Like
hi Marvel.
it would have been more relevant when crafting was a lot more difficult back then, where it's like you had to get all of the classes up and each of them had a different ability and you had to cross class, but that's gone with the wind.
Nope, they don't. Wicked. They really don't. I will tell you about that, Nagi. They really don't know how to.
Nope.
I
They
like again, when I first started playing 14 many, many moons ago, I actually, so funny thing is, of course, as a as a sprout, you get into Novice Network. I left it because ironically they were RPing in there about STDs and whatnot, and that was just not the life I wanted to live. So
Oh my.
yeah, it was a little much. But so when everything that I learned from 14, I learned outside of Novice Network. I literally looked up videos, I looked up stuff like rotations, things like that. I read the text tools that were for all of my, actions and things like that. I practiced at training dummies. I did a lot of stuff like that. And it was cool. It was really, really cool. I didn't have issues with it. And then and a lot of it had to do because I had a shitty FC leader at the time.
Oh, did I disappear? I disappeared.
I think you have to do AFK. I have it where it's like if you're kind of AFK for like 30 minutes, then it's in the farm. And it's like if everybody's doing the same thing, it's gonna kind of treat it like, okay, there's stuff in here. Like for instance, I could have somebody go harvest because there's like a whole thing of lettuce over there that need to get harvested. But I think right now you have a lot of people that are I think Noodle is planting.
Is it gather or harvest?
You have to look at the thing. You thought it was hard to craft because I didn't know about the macros? Really? Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Gathering was crafting can be pretty hard, especially if you don't know, because there is kind of a rotation you have to do, and you have to kind of look at all the other different actions that you do. So I did have to look up stuff about the crafting and to find out like how they all tied in together. You said I was manually making everything. So when I first started off Lunez though, I did that too. Typically, if I make a macro, I will actually manually do it. Most of the time when I use a macro is for high end crafting because I don't feel like going through the rotations 24/7. But most of the time I actually will manually craft some things. And especially if a macro breaks, then I go back into manual mode to find out where that macro had broken at and then try to fix it. So I am a both type of person. I feel like you should manually craft first before you do macros. That way you understand, because if your macro breaks, you can kind of get an idea of where it broke and what you need to do to adjust it. Like if you need to replace a certain action, or if you need to add an action or take something away, things like that. I'm a big fan of that. Is to do it in that way. But I am also like, again, I old school. I didn't have any person in the game teach me how to craft. I basically had to learn for myself. And I got like
Back in my day.
I had little hints now and then from like one person who was like a heavy crafter in my FC. Other than that though, I pretty much learned on my own. And then once I got to max level and then the whole pentamelding thing went down, that's when he kind of stepped up and said, okay, now this is where you can use macros. And then he kind of started me off with my first few macros. And then from there, and even with the macros that he gave me, I manually did the macros. So I understood like how the flow of the rotation went. And in that way, it gave me a good idea to start paying attention to that stuff, because if it broke, I knew where to go fix it and like what I needed to do the adjustments for.
Also, it's also a lot different now because now we have a test mode
Mm-hmm.
for your crafting. Back then, we did not have that. We was like, okay, I hope this worked. now there is a test crafting where you're basically okay, you can even put in, I think, how many high quality materials that you have
Mm-hmm.
just to see where just to see where you are. So it's like, yeah, that's really helpful too because you can now test out your macros and in that mode.
Mm-hmm.
Before we were just like, don't mispress the button. If the server was really laggy and you're trying to use a macro, oh well, you got a server tick. Well, your whole macro is screwed. That usually was on patch days. You didn't you did that stuff manually on patch days.
Yeah.
So it's like it's good to have macros if you're doing a lot of mass crafting or if you're doing like a HQ craft, but I would not be dependent on it. I would still do it manually just to get a good feel on it because I'm not gonna lie. I used macros so much at one point doing mass crafting. I had to go back and do manual crafting. I damn near forgot
You said
what I
yes,
had to
because
push.
even with looking up macros, I'll find stuff, and when I'm run test, it doesn't work. So I think there are people. No, I would say they're not doing troll macros. I would say that what they're doing is they're posting up. Because sometimes, okay, so this is like the silly part about crafting, and the macros. This is where you can tell who knows what they're doing and who knows what they don't know what you do. You do, and like Wicked said,
Oh.
you need, yeah, typically if I see a macro, what I will do is I will often tell you you need to be better than the stats that they're using, if that
Yep.
makes sense. If you are literally right at their stats, the macro might break, or there might be something in there that's like is gonna break the macro. Yeah, and they're probably, and honestly, what they're doing is when they post a mess up, they're probably posting up some old macros and thinking like, okay, I made one or two adjustments, and then the macros don't work because they probably didn't have the mails, or they didn't anticipate that the stats should have been differently than when they posted up the macros and then the macros had worked. So I typically always go for, if I'm going to use a macro, my males are going to have higher stats than what is actually recommended, because I'm going to ensure that I am not going to run into any problems. And then I always do test runs. So before I ever touch anything I'm actually crafting, I run tests on them. And then if it works, it works. So I will do like a manual thing of them. So I will actually do the macro manually first. If I see that like things are wrong, like my CP is down much lower than what it has to be or whatever, I know that I need to adjust it. Then after I manually craft a couple of things in the test mode and it works, then I put the macro up into test mode. If the macro works fine after I've made the tweaks and everything based on what I tested manually, then yeah, it's good to go. And then I will disseminate that macro out to friends. If shit is still going wrong, I'm looking. I'm looking extra hard now. Yep, same Nagi. I have literally been tweaking the same macros since Shadowbringers. Because I had macros in Heavensward, I had macros in Stormblood. I blew them all away and started fresh in Shadowbringers, and literally I've done nothing but tweak them every single time that we get a patch that gives us new shit. All I do is tweak them. And those macros just get built on. Most of the time, they're pretty working. You probably just have to adjust one or two abilities, which I normally do. And then I'll say, this is the new macro for this. And that'll be it. It gets disseminated out to my friends, and then everybody's good to go. So I never worry about those things. So it's a mood. It is a mood. It is such a mood. Not even gonna sit there and lie about it. It is always such a mood. But like I said, unfortunately, like I said, a lot of the people don't know what they're doing, and they're just being told, oh, just go to the firmament and just hit this macro, and bam, in no time you're a crafting mentor. And then hey, go into the diadem and just beat up nose for like an hour, and bam, you're a crafting mentor. And unfortunately, that's literally those are the ones I call the firmament sprout mentors, because those are people that literally just sit in the firmament and just do nothing but macro craft and and just smack nose in a diadem. And then, but when they get out of there, they don't know how to craft outside of the firmament. Oh, I don't drop frames.
Dark steel.
You said I've never stepped in the firmament to level up. Never. I've never used the firmament to level up outside of going to the custom delivery people that are there. Outside of that, I have never leveled up with the firmament. When the firmament came out, my primal main character was already max level, pentomilded the whole 9 yards. They had no reason to go into the firmament. I went into the firmament because it was extra activity to do, and they were doing restoration rankings. So I did restoration rankings.
Firmament.
Yep.
Never again.
So that was the reason for me. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay. That was the reason for me to step into the firmament. On my ether alt, she never went into the firmament unless she was unlocking custom delivery. She actually never did a firmament craft before. And in all honesty, I probably gained more people. I actually ended up leveling faster outside the firmament than I did inside the firmament. But it also helped that I kind of knew what I was doing anyway. So it didn't make a difference. But the problem is like I said, you have too many people that are just being told go into the firmament and do it. And I'm not knocking the firmament for having good leveling or XP gain. I knock that people don't try to learn. how to craft or how to properly gather and how to get the stuff that you need and how to meld your gear so that you can hit the nodes and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it has become the meme of this is the best way for you to learn how to craft. So you said I don't have a single achievement from the firmament. I have Saint of the Firmament. And that's because I did my restoration rankings and I got Saint of the Firmament for that. And then I also helped a friend get Saint of the Firmament as well. Why is my bar going red? Like I am literally dropping so many frames. It's going like back and forth from red to green, red to green. Like it's plucking my nerves right now. But yeah, I did Saint of the Firmament. So I literally have that achievement. I have a few others because I helped people get their titles as well. I also gathered in the firmament in the diadem, so of course I have some achievements for that as well. But for the most part, like I said, most of the people nowadays they don't even try, and unfortunately, Tradecraft Mentor has become pretty much of a joke because you got too many people that use it as a fast track to stay in Novice Network. I personally feel like Novice Network needs to get revamped in such a way that you are forced to graduate outside of Novice Network. So I would like to see that. I would like to see forced graduations. I would like to see people have to uh like you get to stay. I feel like they should get it diminished on how long you can stay in Novice Network. And then I feel like you should be forced to graduate out of there. And then once you're out of there as a graduation, I feel like what needs to happen at that point is once you're graduated out of there, you have a time period that you have to spend outside of Novice Network before you can come back in as a mentor. I feel like the mentor requirements need to be a little bit harsher for you to become one. Because unfortunately, again, if all you have to do is know Life the Firmament just to become Tradecraft Mentor, then it lost all meaning at the end of the day. So I feel like you should have like Tradecraft Mentor specifically needs to have a rougher time for you to become that mentor. It kills a lot of the people that are just in there just to do it. I feel like it should be better incentives and higher encouragement, which is part of the reason why I would love to see people forced graduated out of Novice Network and having a cool down period before you can apply to be a mentor and then coming back into the Novice Network. I feel like it would encourage them to go look for FCs. You should need 5K commendations. To be fair, I'm not gonna lie, I kind of do. Anyway, Battle Mentor, yeah. Like, I don't even know if I have 5K. I know I have, I know I have at least, at the very least, 3,500. But yeah, the commendations should get upped again. Definitely. Battle Mentor, like I'm not gonna sit here and lie about it. To be honest, I would care less. I feel like okay, I like mentoring people, I like helping people, I like encouraging people to like try their best and to explore things in Eorzea in Final Fantasy 14. So if I lost mentor, it wouldn't stop me from doing it in game. Like it wouldn't stop me from doing it on stream and things like that. Because I feel like Novice Network has lost a lot of the joy that I used to have for it, because a lot of it has become mentors who treat Novice Network as, this is my therapy session. I come in here. I'm not going to lie. There's literally a mentor who does this. Oh, I'm going to punch you in the ding ding. You know, or, oh, you stinky. Everybody's stinking. Or, you know, oh, who wants free stuff? And mentors should, if you don't give out free stuff, you're not a good mentor. Or everybody hates me here. So I'm just here until somebody hates me and then I leave. Or ever famously, I want to say these really weird stuff to people, and as soon as people start playing back with them, you know what? I don't have to take this. I need to leave. I'm just gonna go, and I'm just gonna go by myself somewhere. Literally, that's the kind of mentalities that be in Novice Network. And you got mentors, literal mentors, who do that kind of stuff. They trash other people. They sit there. They talk garbage about stuff. They spew false narratives about stuff. They don't know themselves. And I don't expect mentors to know everything and anything about the game. But I feel like as a mentor, you have a certain kind of, I feel like mentors have a certain standard that you should be upholding. You don't have to be pious with the angel, with a halo over your head. But I do agree that on some level, you need to set the tone for the type of stuff you in here. Novice Network should not be a place where people just come in there being rude to each other. It should be one of the most helpful and positive places that somebody can get introduced into the game. You shouldn't have people that just come into Novice Network and the first thing that come out somebody's mouth is, ain't nobody asked you, I do what I want, blah, 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 blah. Then you don't need to be here in Novice Network. You do what you want, then why are you here? There's no need for you to be in the system. Like, no use for being in a channel that's designed for people to help. It's also not a channel where people need to be spewing all the nastiness that they need to be talking to a therapy about. Now go to your corner. I gotta upgrade that one because I actually got that louder. That's on my list to do that. So, like, I feel like a lot of people I feel like a lot of people don't be thinking about that. They treat it like it's one of those. They treat it like it's one of those places that I'm like, there are discords for that. There are link shells for that. Go there and do those kind of things. But unfortunately, you have too many people who think that that's appropriate to do when it's really not. I'm a secret mentor. I just have the crown. Don't show my crown. Don't even let people know. I'm not ashamed of being honestly, I'm not gonna hide my crown because I feel like I try to teach, but a lot of the times people will trash mentors, and I'm not gonna say that mentors are bad. Like, I'm not gonna tell you that mentors are pious. There are some bad mentors out there, which is why I said the mentor requirements in general should be upgraded. But I am gonna also say, thank you, Noodle. Oh, hey, Nami. Thank you for the head pad. There are some very bad mentors, like super bad mentors. But I'm also gonna tell you that the player base is just as bad. There are bad sprouts too. There are bad players in the game, and I think that it is a all-around problem in the 14 community, which is part of the reason why I said forced graduation, because you got too many people who, like, I'm gonna call it the COD lobby conversations that happen. You got too many people who play COD or were in like Baron's chat and just was saying all kind of wild stuff in other games, and then they bring it to 14. And then they get upset when people turn around and be like, no, don't do that, da da da. But you have, again, like I said, you have mentors who feel like the job yeah, they bring it to 14. It's a little much, because what ends up happening is you have so I don't know if anybody had kept up with it, where Yoshi P was talking about you're supposed to experience a little stress in game. I 100% agree. I think the game, as good as it is a little comfy for people. I don't think you need to be pounded into the ground in every dungeon and stuff like that. But I always tell people that this game is like a progressive it's progressive learning. Is that every dungeon that you're going into and every expansion that you go into, you're going to start getting progressively introduced to different mechanics that try to make you a little bit more aware, and it gets them a little bit more challenging, so that you hopefully build on all the previous stuff that you've learned and kind of use your noodles to figure out certain stuff. Now, again, I don't think you need to be ground pounded into the ground by the boss in any way, shape, or form. I don't think a dungeon should be so unpleasant that people don't want to go into it. But I do agree that on some level, people have now gotten to the point that they don't even attempt to do the dungeon. They'll ask for people to help them go into the dungeon, and they'll be like, okay, let's do it unsynced. Because they're picking up classes that require you to actually kind of think about it. I will give you a very good one. Healing in this game. Healing can be rough, especially when you got people that may be doing stuff that you're not used to and things like that. But I have seen people that will be on healer and they just want to go into a dungeon unsynced. And they're leveling through, like, friends going into roulettes with them because they have a little bit of a cushion, right? But and what they end up doing is, because they do most of the game in unsynced, they want to walk into in-game content. Now, someone who, I call myself a filthy casual when it comes to raiding, I personally know what it's like to heal savages. They can be rough, especially when you don't know the fight and you have to like kind of gauge where AoEs are, where most of the heavy mechanics are going to be. You have to balance with the other healer because y'all have to work together. Knowing, understanding where tank busters are, things like that. It can be a little scary. I definitely can understand that. I personally get scary every time I go into a fight. Even the fights that I'm currently on, I still be like, I hate this fight. I hate this particular part of the fight. And I always am like in panic mode because I think I'm about to fuck it up type deal. So I know for me, I definitely had to embrace the death as a learning process. You learn from dying. Until you die 1,000 times, you're not going to learn how to fix anything or how to adjust to the mechanics that are going on, because you're not going to be perfect. Part of the reason why you always see me kind of get irritated when I see people, when you're in a casual group or like a mid-core casual group type deal, and you're expecting people to do stuff like they're hardcore day one, week one raiders. Like, no, that's not kind of group like that. You should have a lot more patience and stuff. I always tell people I would die 1,000 times in a dungeon with you as long as you're learning. The more you learn, the better off it's going to be. The more I'm going to die with you because you're trying. But the problem is that a lot of the newer players now just want to get handheld in the dungeon. They literally go in there and want the dungeons unsynced. They're not going to try to learn the mechanics or try to figure out how stuff is. They want you to hand everything over to them. They want you to just hand them gear, hand them weapons, give them minions, give them mounts. Like, basically stay in their pocket 24/7. We said we'll need that 1,000 times. Look, I be needing that 1,000 times. But it gets a little much. It gets a little much sometimes, and you start getting frustrated. You know, it gets, yeah, it gets a little much. So yeah, with the mentorship program, I think there needs to be some adjustment to encourage one, healthy and supportive mentoring, where it's not let me carry you into a dungeon, unsink it. It's let me teach you how to fish. And I'm going to encourage you how to fish. If you need some guidance or some tips, I got you. But you should not expect for me to give you the basket full of fish and the gear and the weapons for the next 50 levels. It shouldn't have to be that. I'm going to encourage you and teach you how to read your maps so that you're not codependent on somebody to do that for you. I'm going to encourage you to use duty support, because duty support and trust are there so that you don't have to wait a long queue time for you in a dungeon that's part of your MSQ because you're in older content when a good portion of the player base is in newer content. It's like it should be more educational. It's the same thing with the Hall of the Novice. Hall of the Novice itself, I feel like definitely needs to get revamped because there are some lessons in there that are not taught how to do stuff. Like for tanking, how to tank swap. You should actually learn how to tank swap. And it should have something in place to where you have, you're kind of given a lesson on how to play with dual tanks. The healing thing, I can kind of see a lesson on how to co-heal with somebody because it's a lot. It's the same thing for like Dancer. It should be a lesson in there to say about how the buffs work because two dancers cannot have technical step up. One would override the other one. I mean, it's little lessons like that I feel like it should be in there. I also kind of think it should be mandatory that if that's the first time playing that particular role, it should be mandatory for you to go into the it should be mandatory for you to go into the Hall of the Novice and complete it in order for you to proceed. It's a lot. You said how to tank swap would be a nice tutorial. Yes, it would be a very good tutorial. I think they talk about, if I remember correctly, they do talk about aggroing because I did the Hall of the Novice on each role when I picked them up so many moons ago. But I know one of the things that they do is that I'm pretty sure they talk about aggro in there, but I think a good important lesson is how to deal with aggro when there are multiple tanks on the field, aka alliance raids, because that seeing tanks fighting for aggro with bosses is crazy. Especially when they want to make the boss a spinny boy. Because when I did different roles, I told you I started to learn how to appreciate the viewpoints from other roles. I loved it because like as a tank, I understood how important it was. When I started tanking, I started to pay attention to where my melee were. And I made sure that I started pulling the bosses so that they were comfy for my melee, so that my melees could do positionals, that the bosses were turned north, so that they were always, because traditionally everybody else should be looking at the boss's butt. Your DPS and your healer should be looking at the boss's butt, while the tank should be looking at the boss's face. I don't know how many times I've seen tanks literally will face the boss towards everybody else and their mama because they're standing there with the DPS and God and Country, and then the tank buster comes out. And next thing you know, everybody and their mama are scrambling and he keeps turning, and I've had tanks where they keep turning the boss to be with the DPS and stuff, and it's just like, turn the boss north. Turn the boss north. He shouldn't be looking at me. I can see this. I have had to tell tanks, I can see his cavities. I should not be seeing his cavities. But yeah, proper tanking is not necessarily the flavor of the month in the game. It's same thing like healers. Asuna is not on every healer's hotbar.
Nope.
And that's a skill that should be on there because that shows up quite often. Now, do I think they should have a tutorial that kind of helps you understand how each of the debuffs that are done should be, whether you can Asuna them or not? Yes, because there are certain skills that you should be taught in the game. Because there are some debuffs that you can Asuna off. Other ones you have to heal them up to full level.
The easy way to that is they fix that. If it has a white line over the
solid-
debuff, you can
yeah.
assume it. This is a solid white line. I think it's either above or under.
It's above it.
It's above it. You can Asuna it off. If you don't see it, is either a heal up mechanic or they need to do something within that dungeon. More than likely will be stepping on a pad to have it removed.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people, I have died to many of debuffs because the healer did not Asuna me. And it's something like, not something I failed the mechanic. It will be like a raid wide that gives you a debuff. And
Yep.
you not being healed up enough. And they just want Asuna.
Yep. Seen that too. I've seen I've also seen the, like with DPS, dancers should be taught, hey, y'all need to communicate who's going to do technical stuff with each other. Do dancers in the party, y'all don't have to partner the same DPS. Partner different DPS. I mean, partner people in general at 60 plus. Partner them. Like, regardless of it, partner them. You know, there is a preference of who you want to partner. But like at this point, I'm just happy if another dancer partners a DPS. Because most of the time I've seen a lot of them that don't do stuff. Like, you know, there's an actual dancer rotation. Standard step, technical step, everything else after that. Technical step happens every 2 minutes. Standard step is every 30 seconds. You know?
Or whenever it drops off.
Yeah, or whenever it drops off. But kind of don't want it to drop off.
Well, not drop off, but when it becomes available.
Yeah.
Because once you get higher, it can show up at like the 45-second mark.
Yeah. Then you have what is it? I would like them to revamp it so that it teaches people to do not sit on Santa's lap. Or Narnia is not the place that you want to hang out at, because healing AoEs have ranges. I've seen people all the way out having tea with Aslan and Turkish delights with the Snow Queen, and then they mad because they dead. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Flip it, ship it, do whatever you feel like you need to do to it. I will not rescue you into healing range. And I do not run to you to heal you. I don't do any of that stuff. I try to be in a neutral area so that everybody named Mama can hit it. But if you don't get hit and you are outside of my range, you'll be dead. And you'll learn. Because I'll raise you. And I'll hope you got the point to say, I'm not going to run over there to you. But unfortunately, you got people that expect that the healer should run all the way across the arena to come heal me. Or you could be in range of the healing so that you do get healed. But if you want to be Narnia game style play, then I'm going to let you be in Narnia. I do not bring people out of Narnia. I'm assuming you're living your best life and that's where you want to hang out at, so I'm going to let you hang out there. It's the same thing like with tank busters. When I'm tanking as a DPS, there's no reason for you to stand in front of me or with me. I've allowed many Sams to die from the tank buster because they were standing right up there. I've been like, hey, you might want to get to the side of the boss. Or I had one Sam specifically. he was dodging tank busters left and right because I kept turning the boss slightly so he wouldn't get hit. Eventually, I got tired of it, and I was like, "Hey, you might want to be on the side and or behind the boss because you know, hey, tank busters." Dude told me I don't pay his sub. I said, "Okay, you are so right. I do not pay your sub." Turned around. We got to a boss who had a cleave. I was the tank. He got cleaved to death. I lived. He asked the healer how come he didn't do like, he was like, "Tank, you could have put a shield on me." Because I was on Dark Knight. And then he told the healer they could have healed him. And both of us was like, "You don't pay our sub."
Mm.
I'm not wasting. I'm not wasting a shield on you. You want to stand in a place that said not to stand there. I guarantee that the last boss, he wasn't standing next to me. He was beside the boss or he was behind the boss. What did we learn? If I don't pay your sub, which I don't, but I don't pay your sub, you're right. I don't pay your sub. Just like you don't pay mine. And I can choose whether or not I want to find your life relevant. I could do the extra mile and put a shield on you, but I wasn't about to because that's a so inappropriate a response. Somebody's giving you a healthy little tip to help you save your life. You died. What did you learn? And while I don't agree that you should be able to dictate to people how they play, I also kind of think that people need to understand that when you go into a dungeon or like alliance raids and stuff, you're going in there with other people. And while they don't pay your sub, they have the ability to impact your sub. And I would really hate for people to like be paying a whole month for stuff. I got the corn. Yeah.
I'm done with you.
What?
You don't even like corn.
I don't like corn. You are so right about that. I got corn. I don't know what exactly I'm supposed to do with this. Oh, we gotta clean this up. I need 6,000 to get this cleaned up. Okay. I need to get this cleaned up. Look at that. I need more space. So we gotta work at getting the 6,000 so I can get this cleaned up. Get
Why
this
is he
cleaned up.
screaming about corn?
We unlock corn. You all can plant corn now. We can do corn. And then we can get monies. And then with the monies, we can unlock these two little zones over here so that we can do things. We got corn stuff to make. See, I hate to do this because like it takes money from me and I don't want it to take money from me. Okay, let's just put this right here. Boop. And then we'll put corn right there. Because I don't like corn that much. So anything I don't like, we're gonna make little gardens for them because we don't need to like corn not that good.
Wow.
Noodle and I thank you. What do you thank for what? I didn't do anything yet. What'd I do?
Noodle was like, "I just keep you alive," and Rainbow was like, "And I thank you." Search. All right.
No, but I don't know. I just like that was my little rant for it. Like I like being a mentor, but I feel like the player base has changed so much that mentoring is kind of almost useless at this point because it's just the way that the player base is. And I kind of feel like in order to make Novice Network successful, it definitely needs to get overhauled. It definitely needs to get overhauled. Noodle just keeping you alive. She heals me a lot. Yeah. I mean, I don't personally encourage, like, again, I never expect for people to do optimal gameplay because that's just a whole mood to be optimizing on a class. But I do would like people to be interested in learning about how classes work and like being able to make a good experience for people. And unfortunately, it's one of those, it gets to a point that you start getting really discouraged because of that. It's just there's a lot of people that just don't do it. I mean, again, like I said, when I first started the game, I had a shitty FC leader. He really didn't know a lot of stuff. Okay, we're gonna plant corn over here. 'Cause I know Noodle about to come over here and just like wreck it. No. Look at her. Look at her. Look at her. She already on the move. Yeah. When I first started playing this game, yeah, he was shitty. He was very shitty. He didn't really know a whole lot of stuff. Every time we asked him a question, he really couldn't answer it, which is why I ended up just doing a lot of Googling, a lot of stuff, because he couldn't answer my questions. He wasn't into gathering and crafting, so when I started getting into it, he couldn't tell me anything. When he was running the FC, we couldn't do anything but donate to the FC. And then he was like, okay, so not even to be funny, he actually had us taxed. He was taxing us. So it'd be like, oh yeah, once a week everybody got to donate like 10 to 20% of whatever guild they had into the FC chest.
Is this a church? Why am I paying tithes?
That's what I said. I was like, why are we putting ties up in here? And of course he sold
For the
it
building
like,
fund?
yeah, that's pretty much what it was. He was like, oh, it's for the FC fund. So when we get an FC house, it'll be money in there type stuff. And I was like, man, this like sound like the building fund that like never goes away. The church. So he was not as helpful as I would have appreciated him, like I would have liked him to be. So it became a little much. And so unfortunately, or fortunately for us, he ended up not logging in for so long and the game booted him as the F. So for those that don't know, every FC has an owner. So normally the owner is the person who started the FC or someone that got passed down the FC by inheritance. So for those that don't know, your FC leader has to not be active on the game for 35 days. Once you hit 35 days, the game will look at your FC roster and it'll say the owner of this FC is not active. It will remove FC leader from that person and give it to the next active person in the game.
Yep, happened to me.
So that's how I got my FC. Our FC leader was inactive for 35 days. I became the new FC leader because I was the next active person under him. You said so many transfers happened when that got added. Oh no, there was a complete fallout when that happened in my FC. I don't ever make it transparent. They started getting the FC leader and his wife started acting really weird and shady and wouldn't tell nobody what the fuck was going on. Come to find out, they were listening to other people and making a whole lot of wrong assumptions, and it got pretty ugly. Then they didn't understand how the game worked, and they were telling people that I took the FC from them. How I took it from them, I have no idea. Because the way I found out I was the FC leader, they were blowing up my phone. And when I say not them, not the FC leader, FC members were pinging me in chat because they knew they were pinging me in PlayStation chat because they knew I had the app on my phone. And because I actually went to the grocery store And you know how like you go in the back of the grocery store and your phone doesn't do anything because the signal is kind of weak back there? So I was actually shopping in the back of the grocery store. By the time I came forward, my phone just started vibrating like crazy because I had like so many freaking alerts popping up on my phone. And it was one FC member that actually had my phone number because we had met up at a convention and everything. And you know, we were already friends, so we exchanged phone number because we were making sure everybody got to where they needed to be, all this other stuff. When I got back to the front of the store, my phone started going off, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on? And, you know, so my phone is set to have like the SOS signal as the text message thing. So it was like, you're blowing up my phone like that. Something is wrong. So I turned around, I looked at it, I saw all these messages on my phone. Before I could even get into the PlayStation app to look at the messages, the FC leader the FC member who had my phone number had called me. I picked it up and I was like, hey, what's up? And they were like, are you at the house? I said, no, I'm at the grocery store. They're like, well, how long till you get to the house? I said, I'm at checkout. I'm like, there's like 6 people in front of me. What the hell is going on? And he's like, oh, he was like, when you get on, you got to get on 14. You have to get on 14. Now, in my mind, I did not know the FC ownership had shifted. I thought that this dude, the former FC member leader, had probably kicked like all of us out of the FC. So I'm thinking that's where everything is getting panicked, all this other stuff. Cause he's like, everybody is online. We're going to wait for you to get on there, all this other stuff. By the time I got home, put my groceries away, all this other stuff, having a little bit of anxiety attack. Cause I was like, oh my God, we don't have an FC anymore, all this other stuff. I log in, and the first thing that they tell me is, congratulations, you're our new leader. You need to change the name of the FC. You said we don't forget to pick up eggs. Oh my God. So that's how I ended up finding out I was the FC leader. I personally did not understand how any of it worked. And that's when they told me about how they had looked it up because they didn't understand. They thought he had given it to me. And then somebody was like, no, because it didn't say he transferred to it. So it just says that I was promoted. So somebody looked it up, and that's where we found out how you became an FC leader without the FC leader giving you ownership. And I personally was going to give it back because it wasn't my FC. I didn't start it or anything else like that. I had been invited in, but the FC members at the time were like, nope. They was like, if you leave, they say, if you give ownership back, we're leaving. Everybody's going to leave, and we're just going to form up a new FC. And we didn't have an FC house or anything at that time anyway. So they all voted to, one, change the name of the FC. They also wanted to cut ties with him. They wanted him gone. They wanted his wife gone. And we tried many times to get in contact with them. They didn't want to talk to us. Dude wasn't paying attention to any of our chats or anything else like that. So we ended up changing the name. And we were actually going to, so I personally, being the person that I am, because I don't like issues, I don't like smoke. But if you bring it to me, I'm going to give it back to you tenfold. But I don't like to start smoke. So I was like, you know what? Let's everybody just kind of part ways as amicably as possible. You ain't got to talk to us. We're not going to go out our way to try to talk to you. But, you know, this was your FC, blah, blah, blah. So I was going to give them half of the money that was in the FC chest. FC voted not to do that. They originally was like, give them nothing. And I was like, no, because some of that money in there is theirs. So after talking with them, we negotiated and was like, okay, they're going to get 20% of the money that was in the FC chest. And of course, we had already changed the name, so they didn't have to worry about that name. They could have that name. You said give them 10%. Look, they wanted to give them nothing. I literally had to talk them into 20% at the most. They were like, give them nothing. And it's kind of funny because the person that voted the hardest to give them nothing was also, we found out, was the same person that was trying to play both sides of the fence. It was ironic, but he got his karma like 2 weeks later. Well, okay, so funny thing about that though, is here's the thing, Noodle. They ended up taking nothing. So so this is how funny it was. The person was a streamer. I don't know if they still
Hold on,
stream
help me play
anymore.
back.
I don't know if they stream anymore or whatever, but they were streaming. And here's how this whole thing went down. They messed around, and when everything got turned over or whatever, and he was ignoring our messages to talk to him and everything else named Mama, the next thing that we heard 3 weeks later was they were accusing me of stealing the FC when I was like, no, we tried to, like, that's not how that happened. Several people tried to explain to them how it happened. He didn't want to hear it. And the reason why he found out about that I was now the leader of the FC was Shirogane. It was during Stormblood. When Stormblood first dropped, Shirogane, you could go into the residence area of Shirogane, but you couldn't buy houses there. They only allowed you to view the properties. So you could see like where you would want to try to get an FC house or a personal house or anything. And that was our goal. Well, when the housing area opened up for purchasing in Shirogane, he had one person in the FC that basically told him, hey, when are you going to buy me my house? So this was a conversation word for word, because I had FC members that were still in this guy's chat because they wanted to see what would happen. They literally said they only stayed in there because they couldn't wait to see when the FC house, when the housing opened up, because they was like, he's gonna find out that he's no longer the FC leader, right? So this is what happened. So when the housing thing came up, the day that we got housing, right? Myself and 2 of my lieutenants got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We did the download of the patches, the whole 9 yards. We logged into the game, literally ran through every ward, and the last ward in Ward 12 in Shirogane was a small house. We grabbed it up because it was the last house in that ward that was an open plot. We grabbed it. Our FC got an FC house. All right. This is very important, y'all. About 6 hours later, this dude goes live. The dude in his chat was like, hey, when are you going to get me my house in 14? The streamer dude goes, oh, I've been meaning to do something about that. I'm going to go ahead and pass you leadership, and then you can go ahead and use the money in the FC chest to get you a house. So the guy in his chat, we assume, slid into his DMs. And when I tell you that they said that man face puckered up so fast, like he ate the most sourest lemon ever, and they said you could hear where he turned around and logged into the game. He pulled it up. Now, at this point, we had logged off. We had logged off the game because we got what we got. We got our house. We put a house down, blah, blah, blah. We retired. And we had work. So, turned around. We, from what we heard from other FC members that had came on, because they started to come on because they wanted to get their FC rooms. They said they saw him log in and literally was standing outside of the FC house and was staring at it. We assumed that he looked at the roster and realized he was no longer the FC leader. That's when we heard a couple of days later that they thought I had stolen the FC from them and they wanted me to return it. FC collectively, before I could ever say anything, the FC members went into his chat and told him no. They said the FC as a whole has revolted and you are no longer, we do not want you to return as the leader. And they were like, we've been trying to contact you to tell you that we are trying to part ways with you. They're willing to get, they gave him the terms and they said, but you are no longer effectively the FC leader, courtesy of Square Enix, not her. One person was such a jackass about it that they literally linked him to stuff and told him, this is what happens when you don't know anything about the game. maybe you should look it up. And they gave him the link for it. And when I tell you, they said this dude was livid as hell. Dude didn't talk to us. The wife was livid. She thought that we just basically was a whole mutiny, all this other stuff. We ended up finding out from a previous member of the FC that they were telling us he wasn't even the actual owner of the FC. He inherited the FC by the exact same way. Someone else started the FC. It used to be named another name. He inherited by the FC leader not logging in. And then he had changed it to the name that we had changed it from. You said they try to contact you about the car steering warranty. Right. It is completely, it really was like that. It was kind of funny. Like it shouldn't have been, but it was really kind of funny. So eventually, he ended up leaving the FC. And then his wife left maybe 3 weeks later. Then she tried to be petty and tried to say that we kicked her out of the FC when we honestly did not. And people actually took screenshots of when she left the FC on her own volition. They took screenshots of who was actually online, which was none of the people that could actually kick her out of the FC. So she messed around, tried to lie and say we kicked her out, all this other stuff. That's why she was gone out the FC. They linked screenshots and everything else in their mama in his chat and was like, yeah, you might want to try that lie again. And then after that, yeah. From last time I heard, they moved over to Ether and they took maybe a couple of the troublemakers with them. We purged the FC of the other troublemakers. And then the FC has since just been a chill spot for everybody. Nobody has had any issues. But last time we heard, they went to Ether and they tried to get into a raid group. I think the wife got kicked out of the Static because she was on Dragoon and she was wearing tank gear on Dragoon. And they were trying to tell her that she needed to not be wearing tank gear with Dragoon. She argued with the Static member and got kicked out of the Static. And then I think he tried to form his own Static. But unfortunately, I think he did one guide for one fight, and then people called him out for it because technically he didn't know any of the mechanics. Because when he tried to get people to do a re-clear, and they were asking him questions about the fight, he couldn't answer it, and he had to admit that it was basically he recorded them doing the fight, but somebody else basically had to tell him all the mechanics and what was going on in the video for him to make the video. He said, plus the game says roster change. Exactly. And I don't think she knew that. I don't think she knew that the game saves the roster change info. But they basically made it to the point that they had to show that I wasn't, or me and the lieutenants, where none of us were online to begin with. Therefore, we couldn't have kicked her if we were not online. So she got caught out in her lie. After that, we have never heard from them since then. We don't even know if they play the game anymore. And it doesn't even really matter. The FC actually was a lot better without them because of it. Because once they left and they took a couple of troublemakers with them, the rest of them, like I said, we had to purge. Because one of them was just literally in there just to try to troll people and stuff. We had to kick him. And it was the one that wanted to use the money in the FC to buy himself a house. The next person we had to purge out was somebody who basically found out that we had started learning how to do crafting and gathering. And he wanted to make us his Nike sweatshop. He felt like if we made all the crafts for him, he would just sell it on the market board and then help him make money. We were like, no, that's not how that works. You can learn how to craft yourself and sell the stuff on the market board, but we're not going to make stuff for you to go and sell it on the market board so you can make money. Yeah. He had a fit. lost his little marbles. We ended up he was like yelling at, and calling people names and everything else in their mama. We kicked him out of the FC. He literally had a Karen moment in the game. He stood outside our FC's house screaming and yelling. Other people in the ward basically told him to get out because didn't nobody want to hear that. Um. Oh, yeah. I don't even know what this. This is lettuce. Okay, we like lettuce. There we go. So we're trying to work our way up to 6,000 so we can expand the farm. Get to work. Anyway, so these are some
Wow.
weird looking lettuce. It looks more like greens. Look. Don't be trying to disrespect the lettuce. Okay, the lettuce is living its bed like it likes how it looks. It's not the shade. I found a bug in this game. I'm almost scared to ask. What's the bug? Because if it's a legit gaming bug, then that would be really cool that we can go and because I can send that feedback back to the developer. If you demolish a crop ready to harvest and something goes to harvest it, you can plant something else and have it instantly harvest as a seed. Really? Okay, I'm not telling him that. I'm definitely not telling him that. You said if that's lettuce, then what's the other crop? Which other crop? Okay, so this is lettuce, and then this is celery. This is cabbage, and then that's leeks. So if you're talking about this one, this is cabbage. Oh, wow. Yeah, I demolished something ready to harvest and didn't know a harvest bot was heading to it. Then I planted wheat in the 4x4. Wow, that's kind of funny. That is a bug. Moon is tired now. She's like, look, I did what I had to do. She's like, I did my job. She's like, I did my job. Um, you know what? I hate to do this, but I do kind of want to put this down here. Let's give Moon something to do. There we go. You can be a builder. Because we can get more biofuel. If we can get more biofuel, I can convert more of it into cash, and then we can get this area unlocked so we can expand the farm. Oh wait, I should actually be giving y'all seats too. Because if y'all are resting, where's the stuff? I should be giving y'all. Yeah, I'll spend a little bit more money and give y'all a chair to sit on. It should be that when you're tired, you can just kind of there y'all go. Yeah, you can actually sit on there and get tired. You said, is it possible to have the biobot ignore certain crops? If not, it would be nice if it could. I don't think it can ignore certain crops, but that would be nice if it did. So yeah, let's note that as something to give to the dev to say, can I tell it specifically if I can, if you can ignore certain crops and just store the stuff that is you're trying to ignore. Because I think I said that too when he had this in beta, is that I wanted, like, I did want it to like ignore certain stuff so that I tell it to only use certain crops, just because of if you ignore certain crops you unlock other ones, because I know it's like certain combinations that allow other crops to show up. You said I want the wheat for animals and not biofuel. Yeah, that makes sense. Look at that. See, Noodle went over there and sat right down. Look at her. Noodle's just sitting there. He went straight to that chair. She literally went straight to the chair. He said, "Well, as long as this you harvest X of each crop, you don't need to store it." Wow, he said this is because you lazy, and then you agreed with him and said you're lazy. He said, "But even if it was a priority list and wheat was at the bottom, it would be fine." I don't think he has that in there though, so that's actually really good feedback for him to say to prioritize the crops that are used in the biofuel, because you want to use the wheat for your animals and not anything else. I mean, is there a difference between using the biofuel and the wheat? Look at Jay. Look at Jay. The moon is sitting there. She's like, "Look, I live my best life." Ah, okay, okay. Yeah, I haven't gotten that far yet. I haven't gotten like the animals yet. I still need to clean out these areas first before I can kind of expand out and see more of the stuff. I know eventually I have to start building the houses of other people. Cause I want to kind of get this out, but I know like I actually need to start putting houses down. So it's like Haku's house. They will help water harvest and build. And then of course there's Sonic's house. He will sell decorations for your farm. Pinion will help you gather farm statistics. Forbic will collect biofuel from bulb hives. Echo will help upgrade robots to make them more efficient. And of course, we don't really have another, like, we only really have like 2 robots here. And that's just to help out. Slate will dig for fossils scattered around the farm. Ooh, that would be actually really good. And then, of course, Splunks will plant seeds on empty crop patches. Uh, so like Haku House would actually be really cool to do. But I kind of want to get this stuff demolished first before I have everything else. Because like right now, everybody is pretty much doing stuff. But no, but no, that's typically how I did it, and like that was part of my motivation to be a mentor in the game, because the person that was supposed to be mine was not good. He didn't really help a lot. He didn't know a lot of the stuff, so a lot of things I had to find out on my own. And they were like, "Maybe so bad." He had classes that some of us were on, and he didn't know how to use those classes. So it became a mood, and it ended up like basically having to do it myself. And that's part of the reason why I became a mentor, because I knew what it was like to not have somebody available that could answer my questions and help guide. Like I didn't want him to carry me in anything, but like it would have been nice to being able to get some feedback on some stuff, or get some clarification on something, or even like, little nice little, hints and stuff like that, and have that kind of dialogue with somebody who's like teaching me how to fish versus fishing for me. And that was the reason why I became a mentor. And the funny thing about it is like I was a mentor before I even realized that I could even be a mentor. I had to be told to go put my mentor crown on, because I had as a DPS, I had all the comms anyway. I had all the comms. I had already been doing a lot of stuff anyway. I actually met the requirements for mentor before I was ever a like in the game mentor. So I didn't even know that. Like I didn't know. Somebody had to tell me that. And I was well over the requirement for it. So yeah. But like I became a mentor because I wanted people to have a easier time. I didn't want, like, I definitely wasn't gonna carry anybody because I wasn't carried. But I wanted people to have like, somebody that can help guide them and give them like some tips and things like that. I would say over the years, the player base of the quality of people that have came in have definitely changed. I'm not going to tell you all of the player base is bad, because it's not. There's definitely some good people. Definitely some amazing players. I will say though that it is quite a bit of them though, of the player base, that they don't read. They don't like reading tooltips. They don't want to be, they don't want to actually go get stuff completed to get something done. A good portion, there are like a portion of them that think that they basically should just be handed stuff. I mean, I don't know if anybody was around. I mean, this is fairly recent, but when Dragon Song Reprise came out as the ultimate, the amount of people that were mad, and I mean like mad, they were pissed off because they wanted to go into Dragon Song Reprise, and they didn't feel like they should have to clear a Savage fight in order for them to walk into Dragon Song Reprise. It has always been a formula. Last fight of a tier unlocks an ultimate for you. So clear the last fight of a raid tier, and of that raid tier that's associated with it, and you will get access to the ultimate that is attached to it. But people were like, I just want to walk in there because Heavensward, I loved it when I was going through it, and I just want to walk in there and see how good I can be. Well, I hate to break it to you, but if you're not willing to do a Savage, which is less difficult than an ultimate, then why do you need to walk into an ultimate, which is considered the hardest content in the game? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. It's kind of like, yeah, you're not going to just log into the game and all of a sudden you're an expert, ninja or monk or dragoon or tank. You have to work towards it.
I done just sat down.
He said, could you imagine clearing a Savage fight for a cute mount? I mean, who would ever lock a cute mount behind content for sweats and try? Oh my God, don't even get me started with that. The meltdown behind the Axolotl mount. There was that too. Because okay, so if you've never gone into a Savage fight or seen a Savage fight or haven't been paying attention to my channel when I do Savage raids, the last fight in a Savage tier, because every tier is 4 fights and there's 3 tiers. The last fight, the 4th fight in each tier, will unlock will unlock your weapon, which is considered your best in slot weapon. So it will give you a best in slot weapon. It will give you the minion because, of course, the Savage fight in general, well, the normal version of the fight also has the minion, but you're always going to be rolling against anybody, just the random people that you're on. The Savage fight gives you an opportunity to also get the minion from there. You get the music from the fight, so that's in there too. And what in the world is that noise?
I think somebody is fighting something.
Oh. And then you also get the mount. So this is how it plays out. Whenever you clear the force fight, you get a weapon coffer, you get a minion, you get music, and then you will get an actual weapon. And that weapon is pretty random. It'll just be anybody's weapon, any class's weapon, it doesn't matter. But those are the 4 things that will drop in a Favorites fight. Oh, you also get the mount. There's that too. I forgot about that. You get the fight. You get the mount. The mount for this tier's P12S, the Savage mount, is a cute little axolotl. It is dopey looking. It has a stupid little grin on his face, everything. It's a dopey little axolotl mount. When I tell you that people found out about this and they lost their freaking marbles, they were having meltdowns. There's like a whole meme about that because they felt like because you're in a Savage fight, tryhards and raiders were not entitled to have a cute mount, and the mount should not be locked behind a hard content that most casual players aren't going to get into. Like legitimate copy pasta memes about the freaking the mount. I don't know. Can somebody find that stupid thing? It is like the dumbest copy pasta, and it was because somebody literally wrote this in a Reddit post. This is why it's the dumbest copy pasta ever. But it was a literally Reddit post from somebody losing all their ether marbles over that. I think you're a VIP, Storm. Yeah, you're a VIP, right? Yeah, you should be able to link the video. It was the funniest thing ever. Like people were shooting bricks that didn't do savages over that. It was incredibly funny. It was like super funny. Like I couldn't even believe that people were mad. They were having meltdowns over it. But the funny thing about it though is here's the thing. They had no problem when Shadow Dog went into the Mog station. And if everybody don't know, there's a Cerebus dog mount. And he's the Shadow Dog. You actually have to fight him in a Savage fight. He's not even a Savage mount. He was literally a boss in a Savage fight. Everybody named Mama, the same people that cried about the Axolotl being a P12S mount, these are the same people that went to go buy Shadow Dog, and they didn't even fight that dog.
You forget. At first, they thought Shadow Dog was locked behind Blue Mage.
Oh yeah. They did think at first that Shadow Dog was locked behind Blue Mage, and of course,
and then people were like, that doesn't make any sense because you can't fight him. So why would you get him as a mount?
Yep. That was the whole thing. We were like, you can't even fight him, so what was the point of making that a mount?
I'll be right back.
But then he ended up in the Mog station, and the same people ran out there. They ran out there and bought that mount. You didn't see any raiders losing their shit because Shadow Dog was in. They didn't lose their shit because he was in the mount, that he was in the Mog station. We were like, okay. Same thing like Cruise Chaser. There are people that think Cruise Chaser should have been a PvP mount. No. He shouldn't have been a It's like, I will actually defend this statement. Cruise Chaser did not belong in PvP, and I'm glad that he went to the Mog Station because you literally meet Cruise Chaser in a Savage fight. Why would he go to PvP as a PvP mount? He should have been a Savage fight. He should have been a Savage mount. So I'm glad it went to the Mog Station because the lore is that the goblins got the blueprints from you fighting him when you went through Alexander. They studied him. They studied the design and then decided to partake in PvP by bringing the mechs over to kind of enhance the PvP experience. That was it. That was literally so you get to fight. So they brought in Brute Justice and they brought Cruise Chaser. That's literally how they got into PvP. It is literally a savage. It's a fight. It's a normal raid / savage fight. But you had people that were like, it should have been a PvP mount. No, it shouldn't have. It should have been, hey, we put this in Alexander. Cruise Chaser as a PvP mount for that one MOBA style mode makes sense though. If they were gonna do that, you know what you should have got? Cruise Chaser Delta Series X or Delta Series 1. And it should have been silver. But Cruise Chaser himself, as in the gold one that you can get from the Mog Station, if they were going to bring him into the game, that you can get it from the game, he should have went back to the Savage. If anything, if you were going to make it a part of a PvP mount, it should have been silver. It should have been a completely different color, and it should have had a very different name. It shouldn't have been just Cruise Chaser itself. Again, I'm happy they put it in the Mog Station. It made more sense to get him out of Heavensward than it made sense to put him in PvP. Makes sense. They were on Mog Station, made it fair across the board. But I do agree, there are some mounts or some things that should be set behind where they are. Savage fights have always had, the fourth fight have always had mounts behind them. It's a good incentive to go in there and go beat up the thing in order for you to get the mounts. Oh, I should be checking this thing because I'm supposed to be checking to see how much I can convert over. Yeah, let's go. We're halfway to 6,000 to clean up this space. Because then we can build a house. I don't know. The player base has changed. Definitely quite a bit. And I feel like there are some things in the game that should be revamped. Definitely. You know. Get some other stuff in there. So it's not an issue. But I definitely agree that there should be some changes to how the player base is. We definitely need more. A little bit more, I don't want to say super stressful. I'm hoping that they balance it out so that it's not discouraged for new players to play the game, but I hope it's a little bit more encouraged for people to kind of pay attention to mechanics and stuff. Because I know people like to say you don't pay my sub, and you're right, a lot of people don't pay your sub, but you are in MMO where your gameplay actually impacts other people. So, as I like to say, I may not pay your sub, I do impact your sub. That's the thing. Hmm. This music is so chill. I love it. I really love the music on here. It's kind of hard to get into MMOs anyway because a lot of the time the higher ups don't seem to respect the how much time and effort you gotta put into these games. I think it depends on the MMOs. I know the way 14 works. They do actually. I would say 14 is very much understanding of that. They try to make the experience pleasant for everyone. I know, like I said, when I first started playing 14, things were very different. I would say, first and foremost, they did cut down as far as like the MSQ for ARR. They took out a lot of the, yeah, yeah, crumbling. They do it amazingly on this front. I'll give you a good example of it. When I first played the game, there were a lot of fetch quests that was in A Realm Reborn. Like stupidly amount of it to the point of people kind of got really tired of it really fast. A good, and especially towards the end of the expansion, there was like a shit ton of fetch quests. Uh like it was a lot. They cut out damn near, I want to say a good about 80% of the fetch quests within ARR. They actually shortened it, actually shortened ARR. Um so they got rid of a lot of that. And like that's something that newer players take advantage of. When I went through when I went through this game, especially ARR, you did not learn how to fly until you got the Heaven's Ward and you had to collect ether currents. Now in Final Fantasy 14, once you do the fight called the Ultimate Weapon, you do like a couple of cutscenes and then bam, you automatically can fly within ARR realms. So you can fly within Mordona, you can fly in you fly in Mordona, you fly in Eastern Corthus, you can fly in Limsa, Gridania, and Uda. When I was playing it, you did not fly at all. You were hoofing it. You were either walking, running, or you were on your mount. But you were not flying in ARR. Now, yeah, just completing the main story quest, like the base story, not post story, but base story for A Realm Reborn. At the end of it, you can fly. So, is that something that the community let them know about, or did they decide to make changes like that on their own? No, they made those changes on their own. They wanted to make it a little bit easier for newer players. So they did a lot of that. They recently, and I would say within the past year or two, they made changes to some of the dungeons. There are some dungeons that are very different than when I went through them. So it was like what's the one? There's one dungeon where the 1,000 mile, okay, it's called 1,000 miles of Total Rock. So this particular dungeon had a good portion of the dungeon where you had to walk through like some slime that kind of hindered your progress. Like when you were walking, it slowed you down and stuff. They made changes to dungeons like that to make it more streamlined and more friendly towards newer players. They toned down on some of the mechanics in other dungeons to make it a little bit more streamlined and friendly towards newer players. Um, XP gain. Over the years, every time that a new expansion drops, they always make changes to the XP that you gain just playing the game. At this point in the game, you could be halfway through ARR and already be at max level for ARR. You have people that walk into Heaven's Ward and they're max leveled for the expansion. So for instance, ARR's level is its max level is technically 50. Heaven's Ward is 60, Stormblood is 70, Shadowbringers is 80, Endwalker is 90. You literally can walk into Heaven's Ward and be at freaking 60, 65. You're ready to walk into like your levels are that high. You gain so much XP, and that's something that is like that progressively happens every time they do expansions, patches and stuff like that. It is far easier for you to get XP now than it was back then. Back then, I remember having to grind dungeons to just to fight Garuda, and Garuda was like a 47-48 fight. I had to grind dungeons and roulettes just so I could get the levels just to fight Garuda. It's not like that no more. By the time you get to the Garuda fight, you're way over leveled for Garuda. So, yeah, they've made things significantly easier for stuff. They have vendors now at the main crystals that you can actually, when you finish the base game, you can pretty much go back to the main crystals in the areas for that, and there's a person there who has gear for you. And make it so bad, the gear is augmented, so it is like the highest level gear that you could get for that expansion. So you can literally get gear that somebody like me, when we played it when it was current content, we had to grind out for the base gear and then turn around and grind out for the material to make it augmented. Yes. So like right now, for instance, it's Endwalker right now. So my gear right now is gear that either come from Savage Fights, which is the max level gear, or I had to get the Tombstone gear, which is again like the base in game gear or the base, in the story gear. You get the Tombstone gear, and then I had to grind out to get I either had to do the 3 alliance raids to collect a coin from it. I had to do either, or I could do hunts, like join hunt trains and do hunts for like what we consider notorious monsters or elite monsters, to get a certain kind of, to get hunt currency so I can turn that in for the item necessary to bump up the gear's eye level. So when you buy the initial in-game gear or in-game base gear, the eye level on the gear is 650. I would have to do certain activities in order for me to get an item that bumps it up to 660, which is the max level of the gear that you can put on. You finish the game, or at least the base story of the game, you have access. Well, not in current content. Current content, you still have to go to somebody else. But in, like, say you finish the base game for Shadowbringers, you literally could go to Crystarium, go to the Aetheryte. There's a woman that stands, like, her name, well, I forgot what her name is, but she's basically called Moen's representative. She stands like right behind the crystal. You can go up to her and literally buy the max level gear that's not coming from Savages, but the max level augmented Tombstone gear with your poetics that you learn, that you gain just from doing roulettes. You can just basically get that. Where somebody like me, when I was going through current content, we had to do various activities to get the materials needed to augment that gear. So yeah, they make this significantly easier for people than when I first came through. It's still some grind, but the grind is not as much as it was when I was first going through the game. So yeah, they do a lot of stuff. They do one of the things that Square Enix do tell you is that they very much actively look at their forums. They very much, and I have to kind of appreciate devs that do it. They read the forums very much so. They go through those forums and they look at the feedbacks and stuff that people have to say. They do take in feedback for things that the community has an overall issue with. Um, they do make adjustments. They will look at things. If they see that something is too hard, they will tweak it. They will make maintenance. They be like, hey, we got maintenance going on because this is too hard. Or like this was not meted with our threshold, or we tweaked this for this kind of experience, for this kind of experience, and it's not the way it's supposed to be, so we tweaked it, things like that. Now I'm not gonna tell you that they perfect, because sometimes they make changes and everybody's like, why did you make that change? Nobody asked for this type deal. But they're very open with their communications, and they'll tell you stuff. They'll tell you things of why they're not going to do it, what they would like to work on, everything else in their mom. They are very transparent with a lot of stuff that they do. But they are very much, and they stay up to date. They stay in touch with their community. They have been known to come into they have been known to lurk into streamers who stream Final Fantasy 14, and they watch your gameplay. They listen for some of the stuff that you might have to say. Like, you never know. So, I'm not gonna lie, there are Yoshi P that can tell you exactly whose streamer is who, because he will greet them if you go meet him, which they have done in FanFest. He greets them by their names. He'll be like, "I know you. I've been in your streams before. I've watched your streams." Things like that. He knows who are very active in his community. So, now, am I going to tell you that 14 is not a grindy game? It is very much a grindy game, because there's a lot of activities that you can do. There are some areas that could use definitely some improvement. It can be very overwhelming for somebody who has never done an MMO before. There is a lot that could be done to improve stuff, but they are very receptive to feedback. You said you might have to get Square Enix a kiss on the lips. Look, I have to say, I've played a few MMOs, and this one, I have to say, has been the very most reactive when it comes to the devs. Isn't there a level cap for free to play players for the free content? Yes, but here's the thing. So when I first started off, playing this game, you only had a 2-week trial. And your level cap was 35. And as the game progressed on, as we got more expansions, they raised it more. Hi there, tall artist. How are you? Now, if you are very interested in playing anybody that is very interested in playing Final Fantasy 14, you actually get the base game of ARR, and you get the first and second expansions for the game for free. You get to go up to level 70 in the game. The max level right now in the game is 90. You can go all the way up to level 70. And you can do all the activities that's associated with those 2 expansions. So you can do savage fights, you can do all the extremes in there, you can unlock all the beast tribes that are attached to that. You can go unlock Eureka in the game. You can do all the alliance raids. Yes, you are very much so allowed to do that. The only thing that they restrict you when you're on free trial that you cannot participate in is you cannot participate in PvP, and you are limited to the amount of in-game money that you can earn. So you're capped at 300,000. You cannot join an FC, so you cannot join a free company. and you cannot send like tails, do friend requests, things like that. But for the most part, the free trial is super expansive. It's literally super expansive. And every time we get a new expansion, the free trial moves up. So it accommodates newer people all the time. Used to say I wish more games would do that, like that, where when the content expands, so does the level cap for the free play. Yep. It literally moves up every single time that we get a new expansion. So yeah, I expect that the free trial at some point will move up to level 80. Not right away, because they just recently did the you get Heaven's Ward and Stormblood, but eventually it will move up. Oh, I am doing good, tall artist. How are you? I'm glad you're doing good. But yeah, they're very receptive to try to get people to have a comfy experience and allow you to like get a good feel for how the game works. So you pretty much can go through a good portion of the game before you would ever have to buy the game and the subs. And the sub that comes with it. They're very, very receptive to that. These actually, have there been any really actually good MMOs that have come out recently? That is a good question. I mean, I used to play Terra, but now Terra is no more. I think I tried to play what's the name of it? Night something. I can't even remember the name of it. And I'll think about it and I'll look at it because it'll always ask for an update. But there's another one that I used to play, but like I didn't have a lot of people to play with, so I got bored with it really fast. But yeah. Outside of that, I can't really think of any MMOs outside of WoW. I tried WoW. I don't have a dislike for WoW. I think it's a very interesting game to play. I just didn't fall in love with it, and I tried it multiple times. Neverwinter, there you go. Neverwinter was the one that I tried. Like I started off with a few people, and then they quickly fell off of it, and it like got kind of boring kind of fast. So I stopped playing it altogether. You said it's almost required for them to do that with how many quests there are. It's like 2 to 3 months of casual play before you're at the end of the trial. That's true, Storm. That is so true. I've never heard of it. What's Ultima Online? Lunez. I can see why people are going back to older for that case. It's so sad to see what the MMO scene is looking like, to be honest, because I loved them back in the day. I mean, they're actually pretty good. What's that one that had like what is it? I don't want to say League of Legends. It is New World. You know what? In all honesty, I'm not gonna lie. I had actually thought about playing New World, but I heard there was like a lot of issues with it. But New World in general, I thought it was graphically New World actually looked really good. I liked it. Like I didn't have any problems watching people play it. New World actually I watched Asmongold play New World. Like I'm not gonna lie, I used to have a lot of late night stuff where I was, editing videos and stuff like that, and I would watch Asmongold. Like Asmongold would be in the background playing New World, and I thought it was really relaxing. I actually enjoyed watching people play it. I just never got into it myself. You said old MMO, like wow, it was mad after a series of single placer games. Oh, I probably had to look it up. There is Guild Wars. So Guild Wars is another one. I actually have a character on Guild Wars. Guild Wars is actually pretty good. because there are still a lot of people who play that. I want to say there are still people that play Lost Ark too. There's Lost Ark. Lost Ark has a really interesting system too. Um, Again, I have Lost Ark. I didn't get a chance to get into it, but Lost Ark is another one that's actually good. Uh, there is also, dare I say it, Elder Scrolls. Uh, Elder Scrolls Online is another one. Um, I don't. I have never done Elder Scrolls Online, and I refuse to do it because I have a hate relationship with Bathsheba, and all of it started with Oblivion. So I refuse to play any Elder Scroll game. Um, I was traumatized with Oblivion, so we're not going to do that. I do not. I am boycotting Bathsheba after Oblivion. I can't. There is, okay, so I get a lot of mixed reviews when it comes to Black Desert Online as well. I hear a lot of mixed stuff. There are people that really love Black Desert, and then there are people that just like, yeah, they're not in love with it. Yeah, New World had a lot of issues with the blacking, with the hacking stuff. So they there was a lot of stuff that was issues with it. But graphically, I thought it was actually a pretty good game. I don't know if anybody still plays it, but it was actually a pretty good game. The game, because isn't the game a literal desert now? I don't know. They still got people that still play Black Desert. I don't think it's a desert. I just don't think it has the hype that it used to have. Usually was really where it makes that jarring noise sometimes when you're hit and changing the audio volume to do anything. Yeah, that was the same one. That is, yeah, Storm. That is that one. Yeah. Also, the story was like BS, and I was so mad. I was so mad over that story. I was so mad. It made me do all that stuff just for that ending to happen, and I was not a fan. I was not a fan. I was like, oh nah, we not playing this game. So yeah, I was like, I will never play another Elder Scroll game. I don't care what form and shape it takes. I will never play another Elder Scroll related game ever. So I did not play anything after Oblivion. I was like, nope, I'm not doing this because this is, yeah. It made me I still get mad to this day. But yeah, I about to say there is a lot of stuff out there. I mean, you kind of pick your poisons on that front when it comes to story. If the ending is terrible, does that ruin the whole thing for you? Hmm. Hold on, let me think about that for a second. Uh, I think it depends. It depends, and Night Moon. I think it depends. Okay, so it really depends on the it depends on the story and what is considered a bad ending, or because some people consider bad endings like everybody doesn't live happily ever after type deal. You know, they may consider that a bad ending, or like favorite characters died off, or things like that. So I think it just depends on how the ending actually is and what it relates to it. The story for me, good people that you kind of got married to in the game through the gameplay that you like grew connections with could die at the end. And though I may find that terrible, and be like, oh my god, that should never have happened. Blah 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 blah. I would be like, I still love this game. It was 100% arcade. But like, in order for me to not want to come back to a game, it can't be just the ending. It has to be other things too. Because if the story overall is really terrible, I can't get into it. You know, it doesn't make any sense. It's like kind of all over the place. If the gameplay itself is all over the place, if it makes it like a bad experience, then yeah, it has to be multiple factors for me not to want to come back and play a game. You know, so it is, to me, it's not the ending itself, because again, the story may read a certain kind of way just because that's the way a story is. But you know, it just depends. I have like various factors that have to fall into that to make me not want to play that game. Well, it's not just the story, but the gameplay too. Because the story could be really good, but the gameplay is trash. And I'll be like, the story is good. The gameplay, not so much. And it'll be like, that's a one and done. I did it once. It was okay. The story was good, but I don't recommend it just because I don't like the way the gameplay is. And then that'll be it. It'll be like, yeah, that was a one and done. I could also flip it around and be like, I really like the gameplay. The gameplay was really good. The story was meh, but I like the gameplay. So I would come back and play the game because I really like the gameplay. I'll give you a good example of that. The Division. Y'all can hate me all you want to. The Division story was meh. It was interesting, but I wasn't married to the story. I was more married to the gameplay. I like the Division. I like the Division's gameplay. But the gameplay in and of itself, they started doing, like, it got bad. You had a lot of cheating going on. You had a lot of bugs that were going on. Things like that. I stopped playing the Division. And because of that, I lost interest in the Division. Even with the Division 2 coming out, I still didn't want to get into it. Just because, yeah. Division 1, it went downhill. So for me, it was like, nah, I'm good. You know, if y'all like Division 2, that's great. I'm just not interested in it just because Division 1 left a bad taste in my mouth. The gameplay started off good, but then it went downhill. Another one, and Shoko can vouch for it because I was hyped for this game, but it didn't even get my money past the beta. I called it beta because they claimed it was a demo, but it wasn't really a demo. It was a freaking beta, and they knew they knew it was a beta and still shipped that crap out undone. Anthem. I liked Anthem. Okay, as somebody who plays Destiny 2, I liked Anthem. I liked the feel of it. I liked the graphics of it. I liked the combat. I thought Anthem had the potential to be a really good game. I was excited for it to be a very good game because they kind of hit all the right places. They had a good story. The combat was really good. I liked the mechanics of it. You know, I liked the way that it paced. I liked the different levels that you can do. It was really good. But when I tell you that when you put out a demo to me means this is pretty much the finished game. Minus very minor tweaks. This is the finished game. This is exactly how it's going to feel. You should be good. Anthem failed horribly because it was a lot of bugs in it and they just were not fixing it. It was bad. It turned out to be something that could have been great and they dropped the ball on it completely. Only thing that saved Anthem from getting my money was I want to say Shadowbringers, either Stormblood or Shadowbringers dropped, and I had to pre-order it. And of course, Final Fantasy gets pre-ordered first. So, yeah, Final Fantasy saved me from pre-ordering Anthem. But yeah, it Anthem had the potential to be so good, and it didn't do it. He said people love the game, but the practices the companies were doing were making it unfun. They even got rid of a glitch that made things easier for grinding, I think, and they patched it. I don't mind them patching glitches because that happens all the time with every game, but I mind it when they didn't pick pitch. Like here, look, here she go, Shoko done showed up.
It wasn't really a glitch. It was a mistake on their part, and it made drops stupid easy to get, and so they had to reverse it.
Mm-hmm.
The issue also was that the sub weapons that you had, they only went up to purple. They did not have legendary or rather gold for the sub weapons. It really sucked. Also, the freaking balancing for the Grandmaster level was ridiculous. Why is there freaking infantry level mobs taking me out in 2 hits? And I'm golded out, save for the sub weapon.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like, it was stupid. They did not do any balancing when it came to Grandmaster. I'm not about to keep grinding lower level ones. And also, in Grandmaster, why am I still getting blues? Why am I still getting whites? At this point, I should be getting purples and golds. Like I promise you, I loved Anthem. It felt so good to actually fly. It felt good to melee. The combo system was great. I still love that game, and I'm so disappointed that the team they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna fix it, and then come back to the forum. Yeah, we're dropping Anthem. And the sad part is some of the assets that they even use for the game, they freaking trademarked it so nobody can pick it up. So if you want that same flight system, that same combat system, well, nobody else can pick it up because guess what? They said no. But you're not doing anything with the asset. You're just holding on to it. You
Mm-hmm.
you didn't like the game itself is actually still up. I have actually seen a handful of people play it, but yeah, good luck trying to matchmake. I mean, it's pretty much free now. But yeah, all of the assets that they had for Anthem that another company could pick up and probably utilize in something in their game, no, EA has that locked. We're not going to let you have it, but we're not going to do anything else with it either. And that's what pisses me off the most. Anthem could have been a very good game if they had actually put in the fixes, fixed all the bugs, do the balancing for it. It could have been very, very good. It had potential. I'm not going to say it was going to be a Destiny killer or whatever killer. It was just going to be on par. It was going to be a good game. It was super fun to play when it came out. But they I don't understand you putting money into something and then be like, nah, we just going to drop it. I'm like, no, we gonna fix this. Okay, what's your feedback? Okay, let's do this balancing. Okay, let's do this. Make it into something great.
Yep. Another one, Outriders.
Oh,
I
that was a
absolutely.
good one.
That's a good one. Outriders, I fell in love with playing with the beta. The beta was actually really good. They sold the beta good. They did the demo very well. I absolutely loved the demo. It was really, 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 really good. Like really, really, really good. Outriders, yeah. One and done, it fell out. It fell off. Um it was one of those, it was far better if you were playing with other people, and then the scaling was really off with that, so some stuff became super difficult to play through. Crucible died off too, and it was good. Yep, Crucible is another one that was light off. It was good, but it died off. Anthem, I mean, Outriders thing is there was nothing to do in game. So there was that. Once you got the end game, there was nothing for you to do in Outriders. That was it. You got the story, and it was like, okay, what am I supposed to do? So people stopped playing. Literally.
I'm gonna go in the corner and cry about freaking Anthem because I'm still sad about that game. Like legitimate. Okay, Anthem is the same way how I feel about First Ascendant because it's so
Yes.
super fun to play. It felt so good to be able
Yep,
to
predecessor was the
fly.
same way, Storm.
Yep. It's just like take off, take flight. The combo system felt good, and when it connected, oh, you talking about freaking neurons? Just like oh yes, I love it. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so like it's EA, but I'm just like you put in all that money into doing this, and then you just drop it off. That's what pisses me off about it.
Now, what I'm looking forward to is the First Ascendant.
Yes, I'm really
I
looking forward to
played
First Ascendant.
both of the betas. Proud to say I'm a content creator for First Ascendant. I'm in their content creator program. I hopefully they will maintain that list of people for the content creator program. Because when I tell you I absolutely love that game, I love that game. I played the first beta, I played the second beta, I will be playing the third beta. It is amazing. Them games are on point. I absolutely love this game. It like scratches that itch. It scratches so much of an itch. It's like if Warframe and Destiny and Borderlands all got together and had this amazing baby, and this baby was like, I am here and I am alive. I love it. It is so good. I hope that they don't disappoint. So far, the devs have been very open and transparent about a lot of stuff. I know after the second beta, we gave a lot of feedback to them, and this is why I really love them for this. We gave them quite a bit of feedback as far as how the game operated, things like that. They have been absolutely amazing with that feedback to the point that you can see so much. Like you can see a lot of changes. One of the things that so I'll give you a good example. In the first Ascendant, in the first beta, each of the Descendants had their own loadout. So whenever you switched to them, they had a loadout that was for them. And that was perfect. It worked really good. In the second beta, they all shared a loadout. So each descendant did not have an individualized one. So you had to make a lot of adjustments on the fly all the time, depending on whatever content you were going on to and whatever descendant you were going to use for that content. Well, they took the feedback from everybody and a mom and they introduced a better loadout system now. So now the descendants are back at having their own individualized loadout. But to make it even better, if two descendants share like a module, which is basically like a little mod that you can add to like an in-game mod, like chipset that you can add to a descendant to enhance certain abilities that they have, what they end up doing is um what they end up doing is if a module can be enhanced that affects the both ascendants, the game will now tell you that. So to say, hey, when you upgrade this one, these two descendants will also get, it'll be upgraded on these because they actually affect these two people. I absolutely love that it does that. So they took a lot of the feedback that came back from the first demo and the second, well, not the demos, the first betas and the second beta. They did an amazing job with taking the feedback from the player bases and applying it to it. Some stuff they'll tell you, some of the stuff they were like, yeah, people gave us feedback that didn't necessarily make sense, so we weren't going to implement that. However, this stuff actually made sense, therefore we were going to implement it, and they worked on it, and they're very transparent with the stuff that they're working on. So yes, I am having fingers crossed and high hopes for the first Ascendant. You said you want my NBA Jam back? Oh Lord, Shoko.
Look, that was the only basketball game that I played as a kid. NBA Jam from downtown.
All right, I'm gonna give y'all help because we're gonna build Haiku's house.
Who we building? Who house we building?
Huh?
Who house we building?
Haikus.
Haiku.
And
He
build his
is a
house right there.
poem.
Don't disallow you from carrying over your progress in the previous game over to the new ones.
Jay is leaving.
No, Jay, no. Jay over here is just abandoning the farm. I'm gonna call it a night. Thanks for the stream. All right, Jay. Good night.
Night, Jay.
So yeah, it's a little much. It's definitely a little much. So yeah, there are quite a few people. I mean, there are quite a few games out there that definitely, I would say, they have potential to really succeed, and the ball just got dropped. Unfortunate, but I guess at this point, this is why I'm a very big fan of. I don't mind trying a game at least once, because you never know what you might like. And I will always give a game a chance to a certain extent. I mean, clearly I have, certain games that I won't play just because I don't like those kind of genres. But yeah, I will give games a try, and can't knock it and say that it's not a good game. I just haven't did it. You said, how about the Stellar Blade though? So I've actually watched the gameplay. I still need to do the beta. I need not the beta. I still need to do the demo. I personally liked what I saw from the gameplay. I think it's a cute game. I like it. I actually like it, despite the fact that people are like, "Oh my god, look at her body." Whatever. Near. That's all I gotta say. I don't know why y'all focusing on how that girl body look. Most people have played Near, and y'all know damn well you were not looking at 2P face. Let's just be really with that.
Look, they couldn't look at her butt unless they blew her up. So
I mean, they were looking at everywhere else though. So I have seen the gameplay of it. It actually looks good. I actually kind of enjoy it.
yeah, Stellar Blade.
Yeah.
I don't agree with people calling it like Near 3 because I'm just like, nah, it's.
You said Yoko Taro is recommending the game. I think it actually is a good game. From what I've seen of it, I mean, it looks good. I have the demo downloaded. I haven't done the demo yet, but
Yoko Taro is chaos.
From what I've seen from friends that have been playing it, it looks like it plays good. It feels like the type of game that I would play. I like the style of it. I don't have a problem. I would definitely give it a try.
I would have to try out the demo. It seems a little sluggish to me, but again, every game can't be fast paced. I would just have to see how it feels to me. It just looks sluggish to me at some points.
I don't know. That's why I said I got the demo. I just haven't played it yet. But I would definitely, like I said, I'd rather, I'm a big play the demo first, see how it feels first, and see if it's something that you like. But I have seen, like I said, from what I've seen of the gameplay actually looks really good. Like, I like the way that the game looks. Yeah, we don't care about those people. Those people literally getting upset for others for having air conditioners. But yeah. So I mean, it's not bad. It's honestly, I don't think it's a bad game. I think people just probably just a little bit doing too much. But I don't mind the game. I think it looks cool. It definitely looks like something that I would definitely get into. So I like those kind of games. It's just, you just have to kind of find your little niches and work from there. I mean, look, what is it? Diablo 4. That's another one. Like, I don't know what Blizzard was doing. Diablo has always been a really cool game. They always have such great lore, very deep lore.
Okay, why are you on my paperwork?
Yeah,
please.
Diablo 4, fell off so fast.
It really did. It was here and then it was gone, and you're like, nobody's playing this.
Mm-mm.
Like nobody. It's like usually when there's a really good game. Um, if you frequent YouTube, Twitch, you see a lot of people that are still playing the game, really enjoying the game, and then there's always like that lingering. Uh, I don't know how to explain it. Like it's still in the air. It's still supercharged. It's still in people's minds. But then there's games like Diablo 4. It came, went, and it was gone. Nobody really talked about it. It was just there. Another one I will have to say is the same way, but not exactly in a bad way, was the Final Fantasy Stranger Paradise.
Yeah,
It
I have that
came,
one.
it came and went. It did its job and it went. And then like, when you ask people about it, it's like, oh yeah, it was a pretty good game. But that's it. It wasn't like a lingering presence,
Understandable.
but in a good way. Isn't like it
We
did its
can
job. It,
onion.
it entertained. People got done with the game. Okay, clap, clap. Let's go. I think a lot more people were just upset because, like you said, Diablo is usually really rich in lore,
Mm-hmm.
and they failed to deliver. Aside for some other issues with it, but yeah.
Moon went straight to Haku's house and sat down.
She's like, "This is my bench now."
Right. Like she done basically deboed the front of his house. She a whole gremlin mode. I'm gonna clip this moment so she can see this and be like, you see, I put somebody's house down and you literally deboed their house.
Just sit on their front porch. They didn't even get to sit there yet.
Look, and there go Storm. Look, why y'all sitting in front of that man's house?
He said, "My turn."
You said, did you say Blizzard? You know, one thing that comes to mind when I hear Blizzard is Overwatch. Someone let me know something wrong about the game so I can laugh real quick. I mean, it's Blizzard. I don't hate the game. I like Blizzard. Like I like Overwatch. When it first was beta and demo, I played the beta demo for Overwatch. I actually really enjoyed it. When it dropped, I actually enjoyed it. And then I stopped playing it because it got super competitive. And I was just like, dude, I'm just in here trying to live my best life and just kind of get good with the game. But it got super competitive. And like most games like that, you're gonna have the people that don't know how to control their mouth, gonna say all kind of everything in their mama under the sun. It got a little much. So I wasn't a fan of it. I was just like, yeah, I'm good. Um, we good. We're like super
12-year-olds
good.
want to yell in your ear.
Yeah.
Heck, grown people want to yell in your ear.
So yeah, I was okay with that. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm cool on that portion of Blizzard. And I mean, to this day, I still like Blizzard. I like Overwatch too. I do think there's a lot of stupid stuff that happens, like a lot of stuff is locked behind loot boxes and stuff, which is like,
I mean, with everything that also
yeah,
went on with Blizzard.
yeah. Then there's all the
which-
issues that happen with Blizzard and stuff. It was just like, I'm a little cool. Like I'm not gonna say I'm cool on Blizzard because again, I have Diablo 4, but I am, yeah. Overwatch, but I am curious. I would probably low key. I do have Overwatch too. I would not mind going back in there and reacquainting myself with the game. But I also know that that game is not going to become like my life type deal.
Mhm.
I mean, I did that. I did that PvP thing. I played a lot of. Ooh, let me put onions down before one of y'all decide to put something else down. Ah, got them onions down. I am a huge fan of like I mean I did that before. I played Battlefield heavily. My favorite ones are 3 and 4. I haven't like I didn't like yeah, I didn't like the other ones. I heard 2048 is just like it kind of give you the feels of 3 and 4, so I haven't downloaded. I'll probably go in there just to see. But yeah, everything after 4, I didn't necessarily care for. I didn't like 5. Uh,
What game?
Battlefield.
Mm.
You like COD. I played COD. Wasn't really my cup of tea. Even though, yes, I know it kind of feels like Battlefield. I don't know. I prefer Battlefield over COD. Like I tried Tarkov. It's okay. It wasn't my cup of tea. It was like, I'm good. He said it just feels kind of silly of them to bring out Overwatch 2 when all the stuff in the game could have just been another content update for the first one. They could have. I think the other part about it was there was a PvE part of it that they were trying to bring in and they dropped it. And everybody was looking forward to the PvE story. Like they would have a actual PvE mode and they completely just dropped it off and was like, yep, no, we're not doing it. And they had hyped it up so much. So yeah, they lost a lot of people with that. You said Battlefield 2042. I heard it was, so I have it. I'm probably gonna do it more so offline than anything else. But yeah, I heard it was like that, and it was like if you liked Battlefield 3 and you liked Battlefield 4, 2042 feels just like that. And I was like, I liked both of those. I played the crap out of both of those. So I would be down to like going back in there and getting back into Battlefield mode. Because I still love Battlefield to this day. It is a good game. So those are like, I don't know, they're pretty, yeah. Even you, look at you.
Look,
Oh no,
I've
you're at
been
least
doing
not
work.
sitting. You're asking, it made you so bad you're not even sitting.
Look, I was working.
So I don't know. I mean, there's still quite a few games that I would out there be down to do again. Well, like I said, it just all depends on, like I said, as long as you give it a try, that's all that matters. I think now my biggest thing is, hold on, let me check to see who in chat. 'Cause I don't know if I say this. Next thing you know, people come out the woodworks. Biggest thing that I'm working on offline is like learning League of Legends. So that's one of them. I have gotten an invite to try Smite 2. Uh yeah, okay, so I've always been kind of interested in League of Legends. Not just, I mean, the music is really good in there, but I've always kind of been interested in gameplay like that. Um so yeah, that is on the thing. Like I actually have the Riot account, the whole 9 yards. The game is installed, all this other stuff. I've been low key kind of like looking up through the characters and everything else like that, and kind of lurking in some League of Legends streamers chats, asking questions and stuff like that. But like then there's like I have gotten asked if I would like a key for Smite 2. I'm still on the fence with it because I don't normally play games like that, so that should be interesting if I get the key. It would be nice to try it out and just to see like how it is. But it's definitely a different experience for me. What's hot? Is that Hearthstone? No, that can't be Hearthstone. So yeah, did you hear about the news for Leagues? They're implementing a new anti-cheat that people are hating right now, and it's Vanguard, and some people might not want to play the game now. Not sure when they are implementing it. If it's Vanguard, then it's going to be to have the same anti-cheat system as Valorant. Heroes of the Storm. I liked Heroes of the Storm, to be honest. I liked watching people play it. I didn't like play it myself, but I liked it. And I say this as somebody who owns every single StarCraft game. 2 of them are collector's editions.
All right, ma'am. I am going to bed because I got to get up early.
All right. Oh, that's right, because you got to take the little one to school.
Yes.
He gonna be so happy. He gonna be in the back
Yeah,
seat
he-
doing the happy dance.
Oh, he's in the front seat. He big enough now. Yeah, he gonna be happy. But all right,
All
bye.
right, bye. But yes, I so, and I played StarCraft. I miss StarCraft. I might play it again. I don't even know if does anybody still play StarCraft? Like outside of tournaments, you get me for 30 more minutes. Yay! This is the problem with Vanguard rather than with most anti-cheats, is that it's always running in the background, essentially spying on you. While the others, when you close down a game, it shuts it off. I mean, no, I get that. I know that was something that they did for Valorant, so maybe that's something that can be fixed. But yeah, I can get that. I used to play Heroes of the Storm with a few guys from work, and one day we all just picked random for a match, and I got the Necromancer. They also decided to go all mid lane. Then I went top, so it was 4v5, and they were winning as I was soaking XP top. Damn. All right, Crumbling. It was nice talking with you too. You have a good night. Ooh, what even time is it? It looks like it's only 10:30. But no, it's a lot. It's definitely a lot. This summer is gonna be full of stuff because there's First Descendant coming out. Uh, of course y'all know Dawn Trail, that's coming out. Then there's Destiny 2, the final shape that's coming out. It's gonna be a summer full of gaming. And that does not include still stuff like Jensen Impact, Honkai Star Rails. It's gonna be busy, 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 like super busy. And I got like so many 1 hour loops to put up. And this farm is getting worked. Look at this. It's so good. Y'all are doing the things on the farm. I'm so happy. We can now make cauliflower. Do I want to make cauliflower? That is the question. Oh, the price done went up on this stuff though. Like I got questions. Why are you bringing it? Why are you doing inflation? Wait, what is this? This is a storage unit. Stores crops and grants easy access to them. Let's do that. That inflation is real though. Not even gonna lie to y'all. We're gonna do this, and we're gonna put um cauliflower down. Look, Rusty is even can sit down now. Look at him. He's like, I am doing things. I'm just resting my feet. We got storage, and then of course we have this over here. And once that farm gets going, we can put cauliflower down. Oh, that's actually far more helpful. Look at that. I love that that storage unit got it that close. That's actually really good. So now he's gonna have to walk back and forth to the house. He can just go to the storage unit. I'm assuming he just goes to the more quicker area. Let's go. Okay. Put this cauliflower down. There you go. I'm trying to grow like a variety of crops. Whew. This music is so relaxing. I'm not even gonna sit here and lie to you. This is like super relaxing. Mm, mm, mm. 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 And like so much is getting done on this farm too. Like, ooh. I'll probably go ahead and save that so it's not gonna be a problem. I did not have autosave turned on. This should be auto saving. It was not turned on. Look at Shoko just sitting over here living her best life. She's out here watering all the pretty plants. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. You know, we actually did good on this farm. Like, yeah, we actually did really good on this farm. Shakora just sitting over here living her best life. She's out here watering, making sure all the plants get their nice and proper nutrients. I need you to go over there and water them cauliflower though. They over here starving. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Whew. I'm almost done with my first farm. Ooh. I tried the first farm that I did, it's still up. It's just I do more so solo play on it. Just so I can get a feel for stuff and everything. So I almost like it. I really like it. Like this farm has definitely gone farther than my first farm. My first farm, I don't have. I think I have all the way up to the first farm. I want to say I had up to corn. I think. Yeah, I didn't have any of this bottom part yet. But yeah, this one in specific has gone much, much, much further than um the first one that I did. And like I said, I love having little games like this where Twitch can interact with you and help you decide or help you like farm stuff or things like that. I like games that have Twitch interaction in it. Whew. Over here converting stuff. Have a threshold. The more I can give, the better. Ooh. Ooh. I need Shoko to go water those onions. That's what I need. There you go, Storm. There you go. Get them onions. They need water too. They want love too. This is so cute. It is cute, Boosin. This is the game I was telling you about. Rusty's retirement. And this is Twitch chat. So far, two people. Like I had a whole bunch of other people, but people started going to bed. Understandable. It's the work week. But this is really cute, and it has Twitch integration, so you can have your chat when you turn everything on and everything. You can your chat can actually join up and play with you. So like while you're doing other stuff, or for instance, what you could do, Boosin, is when you are playing when like you're farming in Minecraft, you can actually have this game playing at the bottom. So this is actually really helpful. And there's a bunch of commands. If you do exclamation point join, you can join in on the farm, and then they'll actually show up. So these are all the people that are right now that are in here. Subscribers of the channel can turn gold, so they can change their colors. Each of the little people can change their colors up in the game. They can give themselves command. You could do that. Just chatting screen overlay. Yep. You see what I'm doing? I'm doing just chatting, and I am literally sitting here chit chatting with people as people work on the farm. So this would be really good. They can change their colors. They can go do stuff like plant. They can water plants. They can plant seeds of crops that they can use. They can harvest your stuff. They can go build items. So if I put something else down to build, I can. Rusty would either do it himself, or right now I have Hikari, who is on the who is a neighbor of his. So the other house right there is Hikari. They can go build things for you. Like yeah, it's really it's really chat friendly. Yep, you can either make it smaller or vertical, so that works too. Trying to at least hold out to 11. But no, this is a cute game. This is definitely one that you would 100% enjoy, Boosin. Like I said, it's really good for getting chat interactive. Okay, cool. All right, we're gonna cut it off for today and keep this going for a little bit, but we are going to call it for the evening. Yeah, they're doing that. Who do y'all would like to see that I haven't been sending you guys to? Ooh, you know what? Let's do this because I do still need to do just impact this week as well. We're gonna send you guys over to, because I met her during Black History Month, where she was definitely hyping up a lot of the people like myself who play games like Genshin Impact, Sonkai Star Rail, and she's definitely a good content creator herself. She's really sweet. I think you guys are gonna like her. She is currently, she is doing actually quite a few things in here right now. She's doing the child's moral support, co-op help desk, Abyss, and Jensen quizzes. So let's send you guys over to Sleepy Siren, and I will hit you up. Probably not tomorrow because tomorrow I actually need to actually take an actual rest day because I got some stuff offline content that I need to put out. But we'll probably be on Wednesday because I do got a couple of games that I need to play and hang out with you guys. But if I don't see you on Wednesday, it will definitely be Thursday. But either way, schedule will go out tomorrow, so we'll see. It'll be up in the air. But I appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing as always. So let's go say hi to Sleepy Siren. So I'm excited. I will see you guys for the next on Wednesday. You guys are amazing. Rock. I appreciate you. And I will see you guys later. Night.